Hello, Internet. Oh yeah, I forgot to untag that or unhook that. Okay, let's see what's going on with everything here. All right. Hello, 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 and hello. Um, why every time YouTube? Why? What happened in the last like 6 months that every time I start a stream, the stream doesn't start on YouTube? Like, why? Okay. Hi, how are we doing today, everyone? Yeah, I am here. Decided to make use of this time because I have kind of fumbled my day, so thought I'd make use of some time. So here I am. I won't really have time to stream tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah, I won't be doing any Flash live stream Wednesday. Maybe a small, minuscule chance I could do one maybe Wednesday. Hold on a second. Let me just check. Sorry, I just have to look on my phone to do it. So don't think you want to be looking up my nostril. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you like nostrils, but I don't know. Where the hell is it? Okay, any other time I'd find this like in 2 seconds. Why is this taking so long? Okay, maybe it's on my computer. What the hell? Why can I not find this? I know it's a thing. Did I accidentally delete it? And if so, why is it deleted off my phone too? Okay. One last thing to look up, and maybe it'll be in there. Sorry, guys, this is taking several seconds longer than it should have. There it is. Yeah. No, I want the other one. Yeah. No, don't do that. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'll definitely be busy all day Wednesday. So yeah, there won't be a live stream Wednesday for the Flash watch along. Oh, why did I close that? What am I doing? I swear I am slightly more competent than this. Oh, I've still got the screen off. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Let's get caught up. First off, the hellos. Hello, Scott. Hello, Destroyer. Hello, Eddie. Hello, Victor. Hello, Abby. Hello, Flash Freak. Hello, Cal. Hello, Laura. Hello, Heroes. And I am currently caught up to the chat. All right. We have a couple of super chats right off the bat, so we will get to those. And the first one is from Scott Edwards. Hello again, Scott. How are we doing? He's $9.99. I still think there's a hope we might get some Arrowverse people in the series finale. Not everyone, obviously, but some. Cobalt Blue is definitely a final villain. Maybe they show up for final battle. I know you have your hopes. I'm not gonna tell you to stop hoping, but I think with the way this season is winding down, I don't think there's gonna be. They're not. This isn't a wrap up of the Arrowverse. It's a wrap up of the Flash. Eric has made that abundantly clear over and over again in interviews, and unless there's a reason for them to be there, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think you're going to have a big battle with like six superheroes versus one guy. It's going to be like the Flash, maybe one or two Team Flash members, maybe, maybe on the wild off chance one more guest star might join them. But I think the most you're going to get is like one non-Flash guest star. That's it. Feel free to keep hoping, but I have minimized my hopes to the Flash-based characters at this point, based off the way Eric's talking, and we're just at that point where I don't think it's going to be some big epic Arrowverse ending thing. It's going to be a Flash ending thing. So my personal expectations have been tempered down to people on the Flash. But yeah, feel free to keep thinking, hoping. I hope you're right. I really do for my own personal reasons, but I'm not expecting it. Excitement level for The Mandalorian season 3. Yes. I mean, I will get more excited when it gets here, I guess. I don't even know when it is. I know everyone keeps asking me this question now. Like every week, there must have been a trailer or something a while ago that came out or something, but I don't even know the start date for it yet. Whenever it gets here, maybe I'll be excited more then. Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Destroyer, thank you. One episode left to film for the Flash, and then it's over for them as their characters. Technically not. There's 1.5 episodes left. They've got. Hold on, let me do some quick math. Okay, assuming. Okay, no, we have one holiday on Monday, so there should be 3 more filming days left for episode 12. Maybe 4. I could be wrong. It could be 4. But I think there's 3 more filming days left for episode 12. And then they'll be on to episode 14. Or 13. What is this spot on my glasses? I just wiped them like seconds before I got on here. How? How are that already there? Oh, yeah. I think the Flash movie looks awesome. You think it will do well at the box office? I do think it'll do well at the box office. I think most casual fans know nothing at all about Ezra Miller's past. The only ones that really know about Ezra Miller are the ones that keep up on celebrity stuff, and they really make up a fraction of viewers. Like, we live in this little bubble. You guys all come here to talk to other people who talk about superhero stuff, and those people discuss superhero stuff that they've seen from other people talking about superhero stuff and all that. It is a very small, contained bubble of the overall world. 80%. 80% of people that go to a movie on any given week know nothing about the actors' lives at all. Once in a while, something breaks through that thing and will jump out and they will still hear about it. Like, say, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard lawsuit stuff. That was just an unavoidable thing that everybody is going to hear about. But 80% plus of those people know nothing about the day-to-day stuff that goes on with 99.9% of celebrities. So yeah, it'll still do well at the box office. The only way it doesn't is if Ezra were to do something even crazier and more attention grabbing closer to the movie. Barring that, movie should be a go. I mean, a success. Couple hellos. Am I going to watch Ant-Man next week? No. I would give the Flash movie trailer a 10 out of 10. This has to be one of the best superhero movie trailers I've seen, even better than Avengers trailer. Yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know if I would say 10. I would definitely say in the high 8s to low 9s. Somewhere between 8.8 and 9.2. What set you failed to see? I knew where the Flash was going to be, but it was postponed or canceled because of our weather. They're supposed to film in a park today. I got there. They had stuff set up, but I had a couple of different crew members tell me that because we have another like big dangerous wind warning going on, and you can't film in the wind. Which I know random people are like, "Well, why can't you film in the wind? What's wrong?" The big problem isn't so much the actors or the people like standing around. It is lighting crews and people that have to like when you go to a film set. There's these big, giant, practical. They're practically like kites. They're humongous pieces of fabric that they hold up in the sky on a crane to block out light or to give extra light or to change the angle of the light. Between that and the cranes that have actual floodlights on them, those things cannot go up in the air legally past, I think it's 40 kilometers an hour, some number like that. And we were going to have up to 80-kilometer-an-hour winds. So they just legally couldn't go up in those. So they couldn't work in the park today. So I don't know when they're going to get back there, but yeah, today they had to postpone their set. Yeah. What's popping CG? I don't know. I don't know what is popping. Because you're in a different universe and you don't know it. Oh, that's possible. You know what, Victor? That is possible. I've never considered the idea I could just be in a different universe. I actually have a friend who myself and others are convinced does alternate universes on the regular. So maybe I'm in their other alternate universe and I just don't know it. Hello, alternate people that also follow me over here. More hellos. Hello, everyone. When should they start filming the finale? Probably Tuesday. Not Tuesday tomorrow. The Tuesday after, because we have a holiday on Monday. Assuming they don't work Monday, which they won't, it will be Tuesday. Man, it's good to see Michael Keaton back as Batman. I think this movie will dominate at the box office. Yeah, that was far and away the thing most people were excited about, which is funny, you know. Obviously, I saw Michael Keaton's Batman back in the day. I don't know why. I don't have that same, oh my god, I can't believe Michael Keaton as Batman is back excitement as a lot of other people. I'm excited, but this is like how the internet's reacting. This is like how I feel about it. Like, I'm not excited, but my excitement level is like half of how the internet feels about it. And I don't understand because I can't imagine 60% of the people were alive when that movie came out. You know? So I don't understand it. Flash trailer, but won't see it in theaters. Waiting for streaming for that. Last DC movie I saw in theaters was Batman, or was 2016 Suicide Squad, and the last DC movie was Batman. Okay. They wrap 3 weeks from today, right? Oh, I'll need to pull up an actual calendar to see when the fuck the 6th is. Yes, 3 weeks today. Barring any delays. I mean, as I just finished telling you, they basically had to cancel part of a shoot today, so I don't know if they have to make that up down the line or not. Hello, Kata. Do you need me to help you as a guest? No, I'm good for now. We'll see in a little while if my throat starts to go and I need a break. Flash was cool. Previous comment. Oh yeah, okay. Most anticipated movie of the year is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I didn't even know there was another Spider-Man movie coming. I'm still hoping for Cisco to make one last appearance. I think Cisco's a realistic possibility. Hoping Cisco comes back. Yeah, I agree, guys. March 1st is Mandalorian. Oh, okay. Hey guys, Tim here. Well, hello, Tim. Hello, Lloyd. I am a mathematician. I guess sometimes. We have a super chat down here. As soon as I figure out what mark I'm at, 738. Why can't I scroll? There we go. A Funko hello. Let's see if I can find someone that wants to talk. Yeah, do you want to talk? Oh, you do? Oh, cool. Cool. Oh, you? What? Oh, man, guys, you're being so generous. Hold on, let me see. Let's. Do you guys want to answer this question, guys? Yeah, okay. Okay. Do you want to go first? Who wants to go first? I need an answer. Quit staring at each. Okay, you are? Okay. Hi, Victor. My name is Killer Frost. Frost. No, it's Snow. I think that's my name. I think my name's Snow now. Let me answer your question. Funko, hello. When filming The Flash, do all actors start to go home, or do they have to stay for whatever extra work they must do for the show? Um, the actors generally will stay here through the week when filming, and some of them will go home on weekends. Some of them will stay in Vancouver and just live here. Some actors will just live in Vancouver through the whole season and then leave at the end of the season to go back home. As far as like for the end of the season, we get out of here the second we know we have wrapped. They will start I see your comment, Mr. Paggi, and we will let the host of the show discuss that with you in a moment. But I just have to let my guest star in here, and he will finish up this question for you. Hello, Mr. Chinchilla. My name is Barry, the Flash. I mean, the Flash. I don't know who Barry is, but yeah, I am here just to say hello. You should watch the Flash. It's on Wednesdays. If you don't, I'll know. But I gotta leave. That was very nice of them to come by and chat up things like that. I hope Kate for Killer for Frost Snow answered your question there. If not, feel free to ask again, and I'll try to clarify a little better. All right, where was I in the thread? 738. They're still filming 12, right? Correct. Like I said, there's 3 more days of filming, maybe 4. Apparently, they're already planning to do another season of Ahsoka. No, okay. Hey, CG, I have a question to ask. Have you seen Grant on set while they're filming episode 12? So, Eddie, when you clicked on this video, there would have been a thumbnail in that video. The picture of Grant that's in that thumbnail is from episode 12. So I hope that answers your question. Michael Keaton as Batman was so awesome. He sounded and looked very same from the 1989 movie. We heard him say like 6 words. So, I mean, it's easy to sound the same, I guess, for 6 words, especially because the technology that exists today, he could sound like, I don't have a good comparison, but he could sound completely different than he did in 1989, and they could just modify his voice enough to make it sound comparable to them, you know? Warning for me, as for DC, I only going to at the Batman Part 2 in the theater in 2025. That is going to be the DC movie I will see in theaters. Okay. If the Flash movie is a big success, James Gunn might decide to keep Ezra as the Flash. We haven't heard him saying he's not. I'm just saying we're pretty far into this, and so far He has thrown a lot of people out, and one of them hasn't been Ezra Miller somehow. I don't know how, but we're late into this new venture, and he hasn't made a word about him yet. Jordan Fisher is probably a no go for the finale because of Broadway, probably, but nothing is impossible in those situations. So if you've ever uh, gone to a Broadway play, you'll see once in a while the a cast member just they're gone for 2 or 3 days, sometimes 4 days, 5 days. Sometimes it's because of injury or illness. Sometimes it's because a production has talked to them and been like, we really need this person for this episode. Is there any way we can work about it? Because when you go to one of those plays, they always have an understudy. There is someone who will be Jordan Fisher's part if Jordan Fisher can't do it. When you go to that play, they are selling you a ticket to the play, not a ticket to watch Jordan Fisher. So you're going there with the expectation of a play. They don't guarantee you're going to see the A-list person for that day. Lin-Manuel Miranda, when they did Hamilton, I think was off like 5 or 8, 9 days through different periods for different reasons. People still had to go there and watch it. There was no refund because Lin-Manuel Miranda wasn't the lead that night. It's just how a play is. So the Flash could be still talking to them and being like, we really want him. We have these couple of scenes. We just need him for one day. So that would include his flying out day, wardrobe day, filming day, heading home day. So 4 days. If you take away the weekend, that's really 2 days. So there is maybe 3 days of Broadway plays he would have to miss to do one day of filming here. Now that doesn't guarantee the Flash can get it done, but I think it's still not impossible. But I would say it's hard, especially because they're on the East Coast and we're on the West Coast. That's the big, I think, kicker. If they were filming in the New York area, then he really just needs hair and makeup day and the filming day. But the travel days are what might be the part that's hardest. Does Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and the Marvels interest you? Yes, and sort of. From what I heard, I don't know if it's true, but they said that the Flash movie might set up the new DC universe. All sorts of things are being said about all sorts of things. No one really knows outside of James Gunn and maybe one or two other people that are kind of in there. Everybody else, they're theorizing based off of how they want things to play out or don't want things to play out, depending how many views it's going to get them, right? I think the Michael Keaton. I think for me, Michael Keaton is exciting because there is some cheesiness to the Batman, but somehow it works and seems very cool. Okay, fair enough. Excitement for Keaton Batman is same as UCG wasn't born yet when the last time Keaton was Batman. We'll see. It's a little different for you than it is for me then. I actually was alive then, and I'm mostly sure I even saw it in theaters. I know I definitely saw it way back then. I don't know if I saw it on VHS or if I saw it in theater, but I definitely saw it way back then. And I don't have that level of excitement that the internet seems to have about it. I'm excited. It's cool. But everybody else is on like a level 9.995 or higher, and I'm at like a 7. How are my GeoGuessr tournaments going? Oh, I had a shit weekend, man. Just brutal. So on my weekend series, there's 15 games you play. Now, usually out of 15 games, I like there's 3 different modes. There's 5 where you play a head-to-head, so you either get a win or a loss. And there's 10 more where you play against a bunch of people, so there's a first, second, and third place rating. So out of 15 games this weekend, I won 2 and only placed in the top 3 in 8 of them. My usual average is like 10 or 12 games in the top 3, and probably about 5 to 6 of them would be wins. So it was an ugly, ugly, ugly weekend for me. My rating took a beating. I was down into like the low 900s. I've crawled it back up over 1,000 since then. just grinding out games after that. But the weekend series did me in pretty hard. I haven't had a chance to play a lot lately because there's been like extra sets going on and all that stuff. My focus right now is getting through the end of this season with the Flash and Superman and Lois content right now when it's possible. Then in March, I think I'll refocus a little bit more on trying to do better at my GeoGuessr and learning a bit more and studying a bit more and trying to get my rating up better. But right now, I'm playing as much as I can just to make sure I'm not getting rusty, but that's about it. I expect to get my ass kicked a little bit right now, but this weekend was a lot worse than I thought it was going to go. Hello, CG. Dropped in to give a thumbs up and a like. Have a good stream. Thanks, Steve Marine. Welcome. All right, let's address Mr. Alexander's question here. Reminder, CG once sent me a DM about being immature, and he is live talking to Funko Pops. I'm not live talking. They're live talking. I give them a platform to talk. Victor asked a question to them. They answered him with that question. I did nothing. I just sat here in the corner like this, just, hanging out, waiting for them to be done, ho hum, de-dum, de-dum. True story. I have outed Pagey before for his maturity, but I think Pagey is aware of it and he just doesn't care. There's a difference, But yes, Alex, you are technically correct, but you can take that up with Victor. Victor is the one that wanted to talk to them. CG does great impressions. See? I mean, I didn't do an impression. I don't know what Flash Freak is talking about. That wasn't me. That was them. Totally. My Funkos can talk, even though they don't have mouths. No, Pagey, he's talking as a Funko Pop. There's a difference. I don't know what you're talking about. You guys are just slandering my good name all over the place. Are you guys like West Allen fans or like Supercore fans or something? What is this slander? I'm thankful we're getting Batwoman back at least. Yeah, she's back for a couple episodes at least, I believe that the Flash movies will do well. The Flash movies. I did read it right the first time. The Flash movies will do well. I don't believe the Flash movie will make $1 billion because there's a lot of movies coming out this year, including Aquaman 2. I think $1 billion is entirely possible, to be honest, because it's going to be coming out just at the start of summer. It will probably have some competition, but it's the Flash. It is a name brand everyone knows, whether it's through comic books, whether it's through the TV show, whether it's through watching the movies that came out earlier. You have heard of the Flash if you are in that spectrum of moviegoer. I think $1 billion isn't unreasonable. Do I think it'll get $1 billion? Probably not. But I think they would consider it a failure if it doesn't do 750 million. I think 750 it was a failure number. Anything over 750, you're now getting into, okay, we didn't do bad. And then anything over $1 billion, they would consider a success. I think that's probably their threshold for success. What in the world did I just witness? I have no idea, Jade. I don't know. I wasn't here for it. I was in the corner just hanging out, just, hey, the wall looks interesting. And I just let the Funkos talk for themselves. They are capable of defending themselves. That was them. I don't see CG's mouth move, so he can say it's. I don't see CG's mouth move, so can't say it's him. Exactly. Can't believe we're seeing Aquaman twice this year. Jason Momoa in Fast and Furious 10. Oh, I didn't know that. What is up, man? This is what's up, Busy. Busy Braun is here, guys. Do you know who Busy Braun is? If you don't, I don't know why. How are you on the internet and don't know who Busy Braun is? By the way, it's Busy. I don't know if you're still here, but what's up in Reaction Land? What are you working on lately? When am I seeing more person of interest? But seriously, how you doing, man? Hope it's going well, man. Hope it's going well. You still in school? Um, oh, are you going to watch Shazam 2? Probably, even though what's his face has come up lately as being a problematic person. But I mean, if I'm going to go see Ezra, I mean, I don't know when that change happened lately, but my like just attitude towards problem people last 2 to 3 to 5 to 6 months, I just kind of like, well, there's worse people. I don't know. We'll see. I might change my mind by the time it comes out. Who knows? I might change my mind about the Flash by the time it comes out. Who knows? Excuse me. So episode 13 starts this week or next week? Next week. It'll start on Tuesday. Maybe Wednesday, but Tuesday for sure. Sorry, let me say that backwards. Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday for sure. Um, I wonder when Secret Invasion starts, since Mandalorian season 3 is March 1st. I don't even know what a Secret Invasion is. I've heard people talk about it a few times. I don't even know what it's about. Guess which actor who was Batman when you were born? Well, if it wasn't Michael Keaton, then it's got to be Christian Bale, right? Or Ben Affleck, I guess, is also possible. I don't know. Oh no, I'm muted. Oh no, Paige, you couldn't hear me. Oh, what a shame. Oh no. Um, I remember the soundtrack from Batman 1989 with mostly the Prince pop song. Yeah. That pop. I really disliked Prince a lot back then, and that song kind of didn't help because the music video was so weird. Um, yeah, I was not a fan of him back then, and that music video that they did for that song was so weird that it didn't help at all. Zoom back in the series finale? Probably not. I have a question for you, CG. Well, you're in the right place because I think he's here. I think CG is here. If you can name just one who was your favorite Batman of all time, yours is Michael Keaton. Mine would be Adam West because he's the original. He was fun to watch. I probably saw more episodes of Batman and Robin back in the day than I have all the movies combined. Yeah. I don't know who I would say is number two, but Adam West is clearly number one. Are you more excited for Red Death or Cobalt Blue Arc? I'm excited to see how they turn out. I just want the show to be entertaining. I'm not sitting here week after week trying to break down and be like, oh, you know what? They did this thing wrong because in the comics it said this and that character would never do this thing. I just want to be entertained. If it's entertaining, yay! If it's not, boo! I agree with GeoGuessr. I don't know which part you're agreeing with, Laura, but of course, I agree wholeheartedly with your agreement. I'm hoping Grant cameos in the Flash movie. I think a lot of people hope that. I guess we'll have to wait and see. What is it? We're in February now, so March, April, May, June, 4.5 months roughly. We'll find out. Hoping Grant. Oh, I just read that. Couldn't Eric have just used one of the interlude episodes to wrap up Legends this season? No, they only have 13 episodes, dude. You agree Eric could have done that? No, he couldn't have. Not even slightly. They had 13 episodes. Have you not seen all the Eric Wallace interviews that have come out lately? He literally has gone over in notable detail how many things he's had to cut from the Flash stories, let alone drag in other stories to wrap up their content. No way. I think the Batwoman stuff, we will get a 1 or 2 short throwaway lines to what's going on in Batwoman land. Because she's coming in to do the Red Death story arc. We will not get, you know, we're clearly not going to get like Cameron and Nicole and Rachel on screen and them going, oh, here's what they're doing today. We're going to get Javicia as Ryan in the Flash, in Star Labs. I was going to call it the Flash Cave. In Star Labs, doing like, a thing where they're talking about the villain or something, and she will have like a throwaway line about something that like Luke is working on, or she'll say something like, "Oh, her girlfriend, I forgot what Megan Tandy's character's name is, did this thing." You'll get one or maybe two throwaway lines about that to give you a loose idea how things are going in Gotham, but you're not even gonna get a minute of context about it. They're not gonna sit there, have a sit down, have Barry be like, so tell me everything that's going on in Gotham. How's Mary doing? Is Alice getting better? What's going on with Luke? That's not happening. And she's going to be in the show. So you're not getting that for the Legends. I can't wait to see Red Death. Man, last week premiere had you hyped up. This week's new episode involving Caitlin's mysterious character. Yeah, so Caitlin's mysterious character apparently is going to be called Snow, according to an interview she did with TV Line. I don't know. Oh, the other thing I should say about that. Sorry, I know I'm yawning through talking. I shouldn't, but I wanted to get that thought out before I forgot it. It says, where's the exact quote? I have the article here. I was going to pull it up, but I'm half-assing this one. Okay, this is the line in the TV Line interview. Remember this. On Wednesday night, we start to learn a little bit more about this character, who we call Snow in the beginning. I've seen a few people running with the thing going, oh, her new character's named Snow. Her name is Snow for now. For now. There's been lots of times where they have had a character and they come in under false pretenses or a false name, and 2, 4, 6, 8 episodes in, they're a different character. So we'll find out what her real name is down the road, I guess. Remember Arrow when John Barrowman first came in? He was just the man in the suit. That was his character title. That wasn't his name through the entirety of the show. He was not always the man in the suit. Just saying. Characters sometimes come in under one name and change shortly after. Wasn't the new Black Canary, her name originally Tina when they came in, and eventually she became Dinah Lance? Like, just saying. The reported budget is $300 million, and that's not including marketing. It has to make $1 billion to be considered worthwhile. I think 750 is the failure number. 750 to 1,000 is, well, at least it did okay, and then $1 billion is a success. What did I think of the Guardians trailer? I still haven't seen it. If Javicia knocks it out of the park as Red Death, does James Gunn cast her as Ryan Wilder in the DCU? Nope. Let's be honest, Arrowverse actors are never going to be in a movie. We will experience the heat death. We will experience the heat death of the universe before that ever happens. Yeah, I agree. Is George Clooney for Batman Osborn? Oh, I forgot about him. I think people try to forget that franchise ever existed. I was so hyped up when that movie was coming out too. Well, I don't know how many he was in. I forget now. But the one where Alicia Silverstone was in it, because back then she was the bee's knees for my generation, and then it was just trash. Just this list of stars and just a trash movie. So yeah. I mean, DC movies, WB wouldn't allow or even let that happen. For me, it was Kevin Conroy, Adam West, Bale, and Pattinson. Yeah, see, Kevin Conroy, for me, the only experiences I have with Kevin Conroy is his work in Crisis. I didn't watch a lot of cartoons, so I don't have that experience with him. Favorite Batman for you is Bale. After that, Pattinson, Affleck, Keaton, Kilmer, and then Clooney as last. Wow. Sorry, Adam West didn't watch your Batman. Wow. The Batman 2004 cartoon, the Batman. Okay, you guys are just naming all sorts of different Batmans I don't know anything about. With this past weekend's GeoGuessr was rough. For you too? Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's funny, before I went on here, I was watching a video, one of the top players does a YouTube video of his week playing his series. And he obviously he's a very good player. And he went 14-1-0 this week. And I was just like, man, like that is an impressive week. Yeah. I have the best weekend I ever had, and that was when competition was a lot more loose. Like now they've got matchmaking in place. My best weekend, I think, was 12 wins. And obviously, like I said, that was when matchmaking didn't exist. If matchmaking didn't exist now, I would constantly have weekends of 9+ wins, but it is, As for Batman movies, my favorite is Conroy Bale. He is favorite Batman. All right. We learn Daniel Panabaker next week, probably. Yeah, I already covered that. I know I'm a few minutes behind the chat. Sorry. My theory is that she's the original Killer Frost, Louise Lincoln. I've heard a couple of people throw that name around, Louise Lincoln. I guess we'll have to find out. What up, party people? I don't know what is up. If there is something up, is it up here but down in, say, Australia? Because if so, maybe it should be saying, what is down, party people, to some of them. But I don't know. I am just stalling for time. Well, I texted or typed something. I believe that is going to cause a lot of problems that they are giving Batwoman to appear in the half season and not giving other characters. But the difference is her character fits the storyline. You can't just put them in because you want them to like get like 84 more fans to come in, right? You have to have some reason to have them come in, right? So yeah. Also, Val Kilmer was Batman. Yeah, he was. That's one I saw a couple of people like, oh, maybe we'll get Val Kilmer back. Val Kilmer is incapable of doing that anymore. He has put on an excessive amount of weight, and his voice isn't quite there. I don't think he could do it. I agree with that because we got so many Batmans over the decades. Yeah, we do. We've had a couple. I think we've had maybe one or two more Batmans than we have any other character. There could be an entire Batman sports team if you put them all together. There's been so many. They could make a roster. The Superman and Lois news. You know what? I just sent a comment out. I just sent an invite out to someone to come in when they get here. Assuming they're here in the next couple of minutes, I'll talk about that then. But I'll hold on to that. I'll try to catch up to Chad until then. There are a lot of Batmans, and I'm glad James Gunn's DC slate gives us another. Yeah, I mean, we are actually going to be getting another Batman, crazy enough as it is, considering Pattinson's is still technically on the go. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at the time, but here we are. Robert Pattinson's going to be a 2 and done, and they're going to be moving on to the next one. Why is he not joined yet? Weird. Okay. If he doesn't come on, I'll just talk about it myself in like a minute or two. Where was I? I wonder if the Supergirl in the Flash movie connects to Henry Cavill's Superman. I doubt it. Batwoman isn't actually coming in until episode 5, right? Well, she's in episode 4 for sure because there are photos from her on some guy named Canada Graph's website in the episode 4 filming.
Who's that?
Canada Graphs?
Yeah.
That's this asshole in Vancouver. He spoils everything. Just everything. He's there every day. I see him there with his long lens. He's always pointing it at people, taking their photos, and they're always grainy.
How's it going, everyone?
There's like 3 people in the chat that get that reference, but that's fine. Let me just really try and catch up to this chat for a minute. Then I will address something that someone asked while you were logging in. Kilmer has throat cancer. That's what it is. I knew there was a reason he couldn't really do it. Yes, that is what it is. Thank you. Anything interesting for you in the next few days? I do have some interesting things, hopefully. I have a Superman and Lois set later this week. Fingers crossed, I will still hopefully have a Flash set, assuming that one doesn't also get winded out, but we'll see. Is that Pepsi? It's Pepsi and Coke Zero mixed. Is Nora? So Nora is back. God picture. So Nora is back. God picture. I think there's a word in there missing or a letter missing or something, but yes, Nora is back. Do you think Jensen Ackles would make a good Batman? I think he'd make a good one, but I think we've moved past him being in the age range to really do it for a long period of time. If you got him in now, he's doing like 1 or 2 movies tops. He's already in his 40s now. So yeah. All right. So we have with us all the way from Hollywood, California, deep in the tunnels underneath Warner Brothers Studios, getting the scoops for you from guys like Eric Wallace and the showrunner for The Flash, Andy.
Hey, yo. Thank
Welcome.
you.
Welcome. All right, guys. So Andy's here, and Andy and I have talked briefly about this topic in the past a couple times. I was told something at the Friday shoot for The Flash that I've heard a couple times before now. And I know I've talked with you about it, and that is the Flash's future the Superman and Lois future at the Kent farm.
I was like, where is he going with this? I'm like, I'm scared now.
Yeah. I had another conversation with another crew member the other night. This is now the third one that has told me almost the exact same story, that they're done after this year at the farm. That the owners that own the farmland and all that want too much money to stay around. So, what does that mean for the show?
Well, I mean, I guess I can rent out my apartment every once in a while.
Seems fair. Do you think you can pull off downtown Smallville look?
I mean, I do have a couple flannel shirts.
Okay.
I love that that's all I associate with Smallville. Jesus Christ. No, I mean, I understand why they would want more money, because they get like, listen, we're hosting a pretty successful show. Like, get the money. Like, I'm completely in favor of that. 100%.
Thing is, this is something every production at some point experiences if they have an off studio set. Every production experiences it sooner or later, that if the show is going forward, the people that own whatever land you're renting for that set are going to ask for more money. I don't know why. I mean, partly we know why, because WB is broke, especially after they put all the pennies they had left into the Super Bowl. But we understand that there's some budget issues around Warner Brothers these days. But on top of it, I think they maybe should have looked. So the other thing that was explained to me is, this second person now that's told me this is a 5-year deal at the studio. Why wouldn't you 5-year deal the farm?
I wonder if it's more about maybe like, 'cause okay, I don't know how true this is,
Sorry, I'm
but
going to cut you off for 1 second,
okay,
Andy. I just want to
Lois.
address something in the chat. So, Justin, I actually said it before Paigey ever did, just for future reference. Paigey had additional information, but I was the first one to state it publicly. But we'll
What
move
did
on
he
from there.
say? Wait, what did he say?
He did a video on the breakdown of the Superman and Lois news, like with the studio, with the farm, and all that stuff. And he added one or two more things he'd heard from someone else. And I had mentioned all the stuff about the farm lease and all of that prior to his video, prior to him announcing it publicly. So when you just say like I confirmed everything Paigey said in his scoop, technically Paigey confirmed some of the things I said originally, and then whatever.
Or more like
But
reiterated
yeah,
things you had already said. Like that's
yeah,
not a scoop. Like Jesus, like guys, learn the terms.
it's a little scoop because he did add on to it. Like it wasn't just the information I had said; it was my information plus like 25% more he'd heard from somewhere else. So it's a little bit of a scoop, but the part I'm talking about right now wasn't the scoop. Anyway, back to
I would say
this.
I would rather call it rumor.
Fair enough, because it's not etched in stone one way or the other yet. Until they start tearing the house down, it's not one way or the other. I've still heard nothing about the Surrey, the Cloverdale studio space.
City of
And
Vancouver.
sure, Andrew.
I say okay. So guys, the joke is that every time we talk about that lease deal, I accidentally always say City of Vancouver, and then the city will go City of Survey. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Hollywood here um, thinks that we only have one city up here. You know, we have other cities. You know, just like down there, there's Los Angeles, there's Hollywood, there's Beverly Hills. We actually have different cities here. But yeah,
Right.
I have not heard anything one way or the other. I did a little grinding on the internet yesterday trying to find information about this without going through the steps of physically going out there and asking someone, because I looked up for a phone number and there's no phone number to look that information up. You can't just phone them and ask about that information. I would have to physically go all the way out to Surrey to the City of Surrey office to ask them about it. I'm not doing
It
that.
seems extremely impractical of them to do that.
Yeah, but who knows why? I mean, there's probably some like reason behind having to do it that way, right? I mean, why make it impractical unless there's an important reason? Like maybe there's some type of like sneaky thing someone can do if they just get the information over the phone. I don't know.
So what has now happened in the last? Like, what's the latest that has happened that people? Because I saw someone saying, like, "Did you see the Superman Lois news?" And I'm like, "What news? Like, what happened now? What was it?"
I think they're talking about the news that I just was talking about the
Inform.
yeah. If not, I don't know. I do see a couple people in the chat were talking to you like Andy. Oh, Andy is the informant for Superman and Lois news. Oh, are you?
Am I now?
Breaking news right
I'm
here with us. We have
breaking news.
Todd Helbing's personal assistant,
Yeah.
Andrew B.
You know what's funny? One of my former co-hosts on the Flash podcast, his name is Andrew B. Dice. So when you call me Andrew, I always think about him. He's a good old
Okay,
Canadian.
then I will have to change your name. Your name's now Andreas. Can't be confusing people.
But yeah, no, I agree. It's weird. Like if you have a 5-year deal with a studio and you're thinking we're gonna be back for at least 5 years, then why not just
Lock everything down for 5 years.
yeah, especially if they're like because the whole this we were talking about the thing a couple of nights ago that the whole pilot is all about how Clark wants to. The reason they even moved to Smallville is to
get away from Metropolis and get back to
and save the farm. So it's like okay,
yeah.
if that is such a huge integral part of the series, you should have locked it down for 5 years. Now here's the thing. Now I remember what I was going to say before. I don't know if this is true or not. You can correct me if I'm wrong, because I've only ever heard rumors about this like from many, many, many years ago. So back when the original Smallville TV show was on, I heard there were sometimes a little kerfuffles with that Kent farm,
Mm-hmm.
and in terms of like, financial compensation stuff like that. So I wonder if the people who own this Kent farm maybe learned a lesson or two from them and said, no, we will sign 3 years for now, not 5. I have
Um.
no idea if it's true. I don't know. I don't know. This
Yeah.
is like,
No. The thing about the old Smallville show set, you are correct. There was definitely multiple issues back then with negotiating back then. But back then, TV studios threw around money like it was candy. But there was definitely some pushback back then, and I think it might be somewhat comparable to the pushback they're getting now. So when you have a production like that, unless you have a grounds large enough to house the production and all their trailers, you're also going to have to rent out like street space. You're going to have to rent out maybe someone else's lot and all that. So it's not just one place where you might have to, get agreements from. This could be a case of where, yeah, the farm wants more money, but so do the 2 or 3 lots around them that are slightly mildly inconvenienced, 8 times a year might want more money too. And it's just an overall, uh, compounded problem of multiple people wanting more money. If just the landowner that they're shooting on wants more money, but everyone else is just fine with whatever cut they get, maybe you still move ahead with it. But if everybody is demanding more money, then maybe they're just kind of like, this is too much of a problem for us now. But
right.
you are right. Back in the old Smallville days, there was the old Smallville lot. I know that's changed owners at least once, and I think twice over the years. Like when they came back to do Crisis there, new owner by that point. I don't know when the ownership changed hands, but sometime between Smallville and then it was new owners. I don't know how much they paid them to get that for that one shoot, but clearly that owner was kind of like, yeah, we don't want to do that again because they didn't go back there for the show, you know?
Yeah, again, I had no. Again, this is why it was better that you answered this, because again, I'd only heard rumblings about this years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I was like 17 when the show was on, so like my whole like having sources or whatever, so I had not even begun yet. So like I only heard like long after, like, oh, there were issues on, with the negotiate between Ken Farm or whatever, and so I'm like, oh, interesting. Well, maybe that could play. Um, um, Oh, there's a super chat from Scott Evers for you. Annie, do we
I
get some
see
Arrowverse
that.
people in finale? I think Hannah is going to be in the finale. Again, I tried to look for him real hard in 901 in that public space. I'm like, I think I may have seen a camera lens somewhere. Um, Before we know that maybe it was just a reflection of one of their own cameras. But I'm just like, I looked for CG multiple times at that screener. I'm like, I know he's here. I know he's here. I know they must have accidentally shot him at least once.
I knew the two places I think I would find myself there, and I looked too, and I didn't see me. So they clearly took takes where I wasn't in that angle, and
Mhm.
that happens a lot. Like they film, for 40 takes over 5 or 6 different angles with multiple cameras at the same time. If they really are stubborn about wanting to make sure one person isn't in the scene, they got enough footage. you know, like the few times I do end up in the background of scene, I'm kind of like, well, I guess they either didn't notice me or they just were like, this is the best take with the actors and no one's looking in the background. Like, I don't know what their thought process is on that type of stuff, but they usually. So that Richard Harmon scene, there was 2 different scenes they did. Obviously, the start of the episode and the end of the episode scenes there were in that same place. Um, they did, let's say, between those 2 sets of scenes, 60 or 70 takes throughout the day, um, with different camera angles, different distances away. usually more than one camera at a time shooting. So when you shoot, let me find a blank piece of paper to write on. You just chit chat with the chat. I'll be back in a second.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Let me go through the chat a little bit. Cal says, hopefully this season there is a Chegra wedding and baby. That's hilarious. Ola says, Lance, what's up? Scott, that's a good question. Are you both casual or hardcore Star Wars fans? Well, for me, myself, I am more of a casual Star Wars fan. As you've seen on Endless Multiverse, like I cannot get a reference right to save my life. So that's why his Shane Jaw always has to help me fill out whatever info we're looking for. But yeah, I'm more of a casual Star Wars fan. I didn't get into Star Wars until I was like 18 years old. But yeah, I'm more casual. I don't know, CG, are you a casual Star Wars fan?
Yes, I would call myself between casual and big fan, but none of the animated stuff have I ever seen, and a couple of the other projects I haven't seen, but I've seen all the movies. I've seen a good chunk now of the new generation of TV shows. Why is this not coming off? Okay. I'll be one more minute because apparently the non-permanent marker that I've had on my board for a while, it has permanented. So I need to wipe it a little more thoroughly.
No worries. Oh no, I didn't know that. Justin says Eric just got a strike on YouTube for his Flash trailer.
Yeah, I saw Justin's comment in my chat, and I went and looked on Twitter, and yeah, apparently an hour ago he got one. So Jesus. Yeah, WB, I tell you, they're just shooting themselves in the foot left and right. I wonder how many other reactors got one. I wonder why.
I'm hoping that at this point that this kind of they need reactors is part of the culture now. So it's
yeah. Do you want a great comparison? So The Mandalorian on Disney did some type of compilation thing a couple of weeks ago, talking about how great The Mandalorian and Star Wars and all that is. You know what was in their compilation? Reaction video clips. They looked at it and they added it to the content that they used for their promotion.
There you go.
This is 2023, guys. This isn't 1976. You can't stop everything. All you're going to do is push it to the underground, and you'll never be able to use any of it, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping that with DC Studios eventually getting things up and rolling, I'm hoping that maybe I'm sure someone like James Gunn is probably gonna is obviously thinking hey, when we start rolling our stuff out, we need to we can't just go and ban all these things all the time. We need to find some sort of fair use thing.
You'd like to think so, but I mean, who knows? Maybe some people need to bring that up to Mr. Gunn and Mr. Safran and be like, hey, this is a problem that's been going on here for a while. All right, so I finally have my high quality, professionally done artwork here to show you what I was talking about. I don't even remember the topic anymore, but I remember, it was about how many takes it takes to do a scene.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing a scene, let's say this area in the square here is your actual filming area, okay? So those are the 3 actors on there, blah, blah, blah. What just fell off? Oh, one of my magnets. That's random. So the 3 dots in the square there are your 3 actors doing the scene. So on the outside here, you see you have this, and then down here another one. These would be cameras. So one camera is pointing, showing the direction of film. I need to look at this. So this camera is pointing, showing direction of filming this way. Well, this camera is filming that way. Then a little later, they'll take that camera out, and they'd move it over here, and take this one and move it over here. And that happens over and over again all day long. They are continually moving cameras around, but filming the same scene 5, 6, 7 times in different angles. So yeah, they did 70 takes of that scene. So yeah, I'm probably in the corner somewhere in some of those takes, but they at the end of the day just chose, they only need one take of those scenes to use, and yeah, I got put on the cutting room floor, guys.
Well, you're in the Arrowverse at least.
I am. I'm even in post crisis, so
What would Earth One CG versus Earth Prime CG be like? You use a Nixon camera in Earth One.
a what camera?
A Nikon camera, sorry.
I thought I was like Nixon. What is he trying to say?
Nothing controversial. Nothing controversial.
Uh, all right, let me take a quick look at the chat and see if there's anything I've been missing this whole time. A lot of Andes. We had Lance in here for a second. Wasn't Superman and Lois episode cut down from 15 to 13? No, guys. Okay, I've had to argue this a few times in the last week or two, and I know you and I have talked about this a little bit. Okay, so I have a little idea where I think some people get maybe the idea of this. One site, UBCP ACTRA, has an end date of April 11th.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a tentative date based on whenever they got the information a long time ago. And I know Ken even posted way back before anybody that it was April something was the wrap date. But when the news got to all the other ones like Directors Guild, Creative BC, all the big ones that people use on the regular, it had this March, was it 13th or 14th? I forget now, or 10th. I don't even remember what day it is anymore. March 13th. March 13th wrap date. So that is the official date of production. Before they did 1 second of camera work, that was the agreed upon final day. So they didn't cut the season from 15 to 13 in the season. They might have had 15 before the season started. Their plan had an idea of 15, but by the time they got to the first day of work, they knew they were doing 13 episodes. So they didn't cut the season. Mm-hmm. And I've been seeing this now a lot in the last week. I don't know why this is news now, because we have known these film dates for several months. I don't know why people are just jumping on this now. I don't know where this source of panic came from now, but whoever did come up with this information, they've created this like controversy that the season has been cut and it never was. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know who started it.
Probably Pager. I'm kidding. I don't know if he ever watches it. I hope he knows I'm just kidding.
He was in the chat earlier, so you might have just said it right to his face right now. Pagey, if you're listening, Alex or Andy blames you. Just so you know.
Who the hell is Alex?
That's Pagey's name.
Oh, okay. I never knew his real name. So
he's said it a couple of times, so it's not like I'm breaking a scoop.
I see what you did there.
It wasn't even intentional, but okay. Some guy named Mastani keeps saying that on fan forums. Well, I don't know if you have Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, but if you want to message me a link to these forums, I will get in there and discuss it with them. I have no problem being the bad guy. I'll admit, when I saw the Smallville farm in the Elseworlds, you cried. Fair enough. I know a lot of people had feelings about that. I saw a lot of reaction videos where people literally cried during it. Andrew's microphone is muted. I wonder if he knows.
Wait, what knows what?
Oh, and now you're not. Your mic was muted for a second.
I was coughing.
We can't have you coughing, sir. Just
I was trying to be considerate.
Everybody needs their scoops. We can't have you dying on the spot
here. My God, you don't. First of all, I will make. Let me make that.
Prayers in the chat for Andy. He's we don't know how long he's got, guys.
Yeah, let me make this perfectly clear. I'm not a scooper. I'm an insider. I can definitely say that, but I'm not sitting here breaking. Because the thing is, Scoopers is the Scooper game has become really dangerous, where it's now kind of crossing into, like, now anyone can be a Scooper these days, and if they get one or two things right, then suddenly they're now considered like journalists or
Oh
reporters, whatever,
yeah.
and so on. Like for example, I would say that one of my good friends, one of my buddies that I made on online, Skylar, he runs a website called the Disney Insider. He is someone I consider a journalist with well-placed sources in the industry and whatnot. It's an amazing website, guys.
Okay.
And he's awesome. But someone like, but I see him as a reporter with, inside knowledge or whatever and so on. But someone like Disgrace Rudolph, she is a quote unquote scooper who consistently has a lot of things wrong.
Yeah.
Also breaks the rule because she is not looking to, like, for example, she will break, she will go spoil things and break it because she won't go and try and confirm with studios. And she will just be like, here's what I have heard, guys, and also don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, I'm not a scoop. I don't take offense to it, but I will correct people always being like, I'm an insider at most.
Yeah.
Now, if I have a scoop, that means that I've gotten the exclusive confirmed by the studio, and they said you're allowed.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not breaking something that the studio hasn't given you permission to do.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Whereas she is talking to people on the ground. Some of them are reliable. Some of them are very much not. And they're telling her things, and then she's spewing them out. And 1 out of 4 times she gets it right, and people are like, she's a great source. And it's like, did you forget the other 3 things she got wrong? Like, did that just like go over your head? Like I do not ever like calling it out, but I am gonna call it out just to make this example. Does not mean you should go shit on the person for it. There is a blogger in Vancouver, or used to be in Vancouver, they now live outside of Vancouver, who does somewhat the same thing as I do. A lot of you know who I'm talking about already. It is YVR Shoots. She has had a long history of getting a lot of things right, but mixed in with that is like 40 to 60% of it is just completely wrong, because she gets a small little nugget of information. Someone's like, what do you think this thing is? And she'll be like, well, my source says that they did this on this day, so maybe it was this thing. And then people start running with it, and it's like, that person wasn't even in town then. She did a blog one day on a film set that she was at. She was physically at that film set. She mentioned a person in the blog post that was not there. I corrected her. I tweeted and said, hey, by the way, this person wasn't there. No follow-up, no correction, no nothing. That blog post 4 years later is still on the damn site with this misinformation. So the fact that she has some information right some of the time, people think she is reliable for all of the information because they don't see the reliable or accurate information elsewhere. This is part of the reason I am constantly out there when someone like this Superman and Lois thing, someone says, oh, the episode total got cut. And I have to go on there and be like, it didn't get cut. It was always intended for 13 from the time they started filming this season. Maybe there was some time in the off season they had a 15 episode idea, but by the time day 1 of filming started, they knew they were doing 13 episodes based on the film date. I have to constantly go all the time. People come to me and they're like, did you see this thing? This thing is happening. I'm like, it's not. It can't, because this person isn't in town, or this person is on this project, or they didn't even film on this day. I have to do this all the time because people see someone that got one thing right 7 months ago and they think they're right about everything. And it's baffling. Like, you know how many things I hear about on the regular in this town that I could go ahead with and mention, and I would be right about 70% of the time on these things. I could be the first one with scoops on all sorts of things I hear about all of the time, about 70% of the time. Unfortunately, what that means is 30% of the time I'd also be wrong. So I don't mention them. I only mention things that I have physically seen in person, and The only other time I will go off that is if I physically have the information in my hand that they were doing said scene on that day, and I know they filmed it while I wasn't there. That's the only
Mhm.
other time I will mention something that I personally did not visually see, at least. If I don't have photos of it, I at least saw it. And if I did not see it, I at least have the physical paper or a photo of the paper, in the case of one recently, of the specific scene, and I know the day and time that scene was shot. Those are the only times I go off any info. People on the cruise tell me things all the time. That night, the first night Javicia was on set in the Red Death costume, I was told by a crew member that she's there, and I was told by a crew member she's in a costume. I didn't know it was Red Death yet. I was expecting to see her in a Batwoman costume. If I had just left the set and like went and reported on that and been like, Javicia said Leslie was seen on set in her costume, people would have thought it was Batwoman, right?
Mhm.
So like, yeah, guys, like,
Boys,
I
boys, boys.
understand every no, I understand everyone's excited for every little tidbit that comes out, but being brutally honest, 70% of the stuff I see that comes out is bullshit. 70%. It might be honestly higher, but it's 70%. And it's exhausting. But yeah, in your case, like you have to work with the studios in your position. You could never just like if I told you right now, so and so did this scene for so and so, you cannot go and just make a blog post on it because you would
No.
never get another interview with that show ever again. Doesn't matter if you're right or not.
Oh, I could get sued.
Yeah.
I
So
could
there's
get
a
legal
difference
trouble.
between what Andy does and what like people that he called scoopers, and I think that's a fair term because that's what a lot of people call them. And then like compared to like what I do, I only relay the information that I actually know from my own experience being there. Andy only relays information that he is allowed to because he has a job where he has to think about that day in and day out. These scoopers, they can just take anything the internet has tossed at them and go out there and repeat it. They could come out tomorrow and say, "Oh, so and so got fired from this show," and it's like, "No, so and so's on set right now. I'm watching them film." Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, like in my case, for example, like it's like there's things that I like, um okay, I'm trying to think about how to proper term that. Okay. So you guys have seen me do this on the Plaid podcast. I've done on Endless Multiverse. Hi Chainsaw, we see you by the way. Hope you're doing well. And where like let's say a topic comes up. And I can sometimes tease like maybe it's not exactly like that, or I wouldn't look too much into it, or you guys will probably hear something soon about it, or like because I'm not breaking anything that could get me legal trouble. All I'm saying is teases is what I can do the most. Like there was I don't remember what stream it was, but it was someone like I think they joked in our chat about um like what if we give you like a $200 super or something like that. Like I'm not like no money in the world will get me to risk myself like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but like there's things like I guess it is. There's a lot of I mean it's clear as day. I know a lot about season 9, but these would
Mm-hmm.
never be things that I would likely never get to break. And I don't think anyone would
Yeah.
really would get to. It's just like I know like I might know certain characters, I might know about certain plot points, and when there's a back, as I said on an Instagram live I did last week, I don't have. And I said it on Ben's stream. I don't have the whole like. It's not like I have like all 13 scripts in front of me and I know exactly what's gonna happen.
You heard it
But
here first. He's in charge of all the scripts.
no, I'm not.
He could make those edits for you guys. Get harassing Andy right now.
Hmm.
To add in more Chegra scenes.
This is hilarious. I will say that here's something I can say. Um, Justin, you're hilarious. There was a property of from a certain studio that I don't really work with because they've never treated me that well. Where
Yeah.
like I went somewhere and said that I'm hearing this, take it with a grain of salt or whatever, and that was pretty much it because I'm like if I don't work with a student, also if they mistreat me really, really bad, then I'm like, I don't have any loyalty to you. Now, of course,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean I would go and spoil like an entire movie or a TV show, whatever, and so. But I could say like, well, I'm hearing this character is in talks to join this, or like this actor is being in talks to do something like that. Because I'm like, well, there's not for me to lose. The only thing that is to lose is if other student networks have people they know between other companies, and they're like, oh, this dude is a little problematic. You should watch
Mm-hmm.
out for him. But so that's why I'm like, like there's some trade reporters, for example, that don't have the best reputation because they have been talked about as being either difficult or having loud mouths or like just literally like just
Yeah.
running with whatever they hear. Like I mean, again, look what James Gunn is having to do. Like he literally the day when someone on the Variety came out and said that we're hearing that Robert Pattinson's Batman is being considered to join the new DCU universe, whatever you want to call it. It didn't take James even an hour before he came out and said, I don't know where you're hearing this from, but you need better sourcing.
And that's Variety.
Yeah. And I would
Yeah,
not
but
want
I've
that.
said this. I've said this a lot in the last year or two. I don't know what the tipping point was, but Variety and Deadline have really gone downhill. They're still very reliable most of the time, but they're getting a lot more wrong in the last couple of years than they ever did prior. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. They still have like a 90% batting average, but the couple of times they are wrong every month, they're still wrong. And
Mhm.
you don't get that from like Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood Reporters may be wrong twice a year. you know?
It's a risky game out there. Yeah. It's like people who always say that, oh my God, like, you have the dream job and so that there comes cost with that.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh. I mean, every job has hiccups that you can't avoid, like I would never want your job because I would never want to be told what I can and can't discuss. I would never want to do that. And then other people wouldn't want my job because you have to sometimes say to just a random person who's just trying to do their job, no, you're wrong. I have the right to do this. Like, I have to be a bad guy to some people. In some people's stories, I'm the bad guy because I told them they were wrong about something because they were told by their staff to do this thing. Not my fault that they're getting bad information, but to them, somebody has in their mind has me as the bad guy because I corrected them. So every job has things where you have to deal with some things. But we have a question from Eddie here. I don't know if you answered it while I was gone or not, but I
oh,
have
I didn't see this.
not. If I got to direct an episode, um, it would be a crossover episode. And I would make it as ridiculous as possible just to hear fans get triggered. I would break up some key couples.
He did say
Um,
direct, not write an episode.
that's so much different. Disappoint. No one cares about the director. I would have no idea what to do in directing. I don't understand the directing job at all. So, yeah.
I would, if I had to direct an episode of an Arrowverse show, I'd probably do either Flash, for obvious reason, or a crossover episode because like there's like I would love to work with a lot of different people from various shows, um,
Yeah.
but
It'd be
uh,
great if you get an episode, you're like, I get a crossover episode. Awesome. And you get there and it's just the cast of that show. no one no
yeah,
one crossed over.
yeah, yeah, that's yeah, I'm gonna miss like those crossovers like that like because I know COVID messed up a lot of things so what, but it's like it's just insane that we haven't had a crossover since Crisis, and it's
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we're never gonna have another one by the looks of it. Oops, ignore me. Okay, I will ignore you.
now that doesn't mean that people from other shows couldn't show up on the Flash, but I don't count them as crossover. I just count them as like they're guest starring.
Right. Will you both watch Mandalorian season 3 and Ahsoka? Mandalorian for sure, Ahsoka probably.
I haven't even watched Mandalorian, so like I know Shane gonna
What
murder
is
me.
wrong with you? What is going on over there at the ended multiverse? There's like you not watching Mandalorian. There's Chainsaw not watching The Boys.
What is
What
all these
do I
other
have to
shows
go?
I watch?
Do I have to go in there and like kick some ass?
Um, I mean, be my guest. But like, I mean, I watched Obi-Wan,
You
and
watched
then,
Obi-Wan, but not Mandalorian.
well, like, I didn't know if I needed to watch Mandalorian because I wasn't sure where the timeline it was all falling into. But like, but I will say this: Obi-Wan made me want to watch the other shows more. But like, it's like there's just so many of them right now that I'm like, I'm waiting for the Arrowverse to end, and then I will like think about going to another
Well, the Arrowverse is never going to end. I mean, we're gonna have the Cecile spinoff, the Chegra spinoff, the Apartment 4 spinoff,
Apartment 4.
the Beatrice spinoff. I mean, there's going to be a lot of spinoffs coming up, right? So.
I mean, I'm moving into Apartment 4, so
Oh, there we go, guys. Now we now know the answer to who was in Apartment 4.
man, Tom Cannon was knocking so loud. I was like, "Shut the hell up! I'm trying to sleep." No, no, ain't no professor living in this apartment. Man, me and the Arrowverse will be kind of hilarious.
Eddie wants to know if you will be watching Ant-Man when it comes out.
I will. We will on Friday on Endless Multiverse. We will be discussing Ant-Man and the Wasp. Me and Chainsaw.
I am
So,
sorry you have to do that.
oh, because of her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what can you do at this point?
What if Central City Police Department needed you as a photographer? Well, then they have really scraped the bottom. Well, my camera is not good enough to do that type of camera work. Have I met Colin Mockery? No, I have not actually, which is weird because he films a lot of those like comedy things in Vancouver over the years. 2 + 2 = purple. I'll have to try and remember that. My teachers were always trying to make me think it's 4, but I guess, what would they know, right? I said this before, CG, your work is really amazing. They should do a biography on you. Oh, that would be a terrible, terrible, terrible biography. I have considered, about 10 years ago, I did consider writing a book. I even got probably about 30 pages into it before I just quit the project and never followed through on finishing it, like a lot of my experiences back in the day. But so much time has gone by. There was a lot. Part of the reason I stopped doing it was I was noticing there was gaps in the story where I'm like, oh yeah, that thing I forgot about happened in this time era. And the more I realized that, I'm like, I only remember about 25% of the story, right? So I just was like, why even try at this point? And now even more time has passed. So yeah. I heard Grant Gustin said that he can't wait till The Flash ends, not as a negative thing, but as he said, it's like going to college and it's time to move on with your life. Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Oh, Jenks, I can say something that I did talk to Grant the other night, and I even asked him what's next for him. His response was, he's thought about a couple of things, he's looked at some things, but nothing's lined up yet, and that his focus right now will be to spend time with his family. So you probably shouldn't expect another Grant Gustin project for at least a year, I think.
Yeah, by the time the Flash season 9 is probably finished, we will be like in Q2 anyway of the year. So I'm sure by the fall he will have booked something, and then maybe start shooting it at the beginning of.
Oh yeah, because I mean, when he's saying like I've looked into things and nothing's lining up for me right now, you're probably talking on a schedule of between now and June. They would start casting for things right now that would be for April and May and maybe June. So when he says nothing's lining up for him, he's talking the next 4-5 months. November, they haven't even thought of who to start casting for that yet, So, yeah. But yeah, that's the update on. I outright asked him like, "What's going on with you next? Do you have anything lined up?" And that was his answer. So there you guys go. You got your official scoop from a scooper right here, scooping everybody on the scoops. Scoops. All right. We need more Tegra scenes. See, we need more Tegra scenes there, Mr. Script writer.
Yeah, totally. You can thank me for that kiss in the season premiere. I knew
There you
everyone was
guys
gonna.
go. Everyone's going to clip that now, and they're going to be telling everybody on the internet that you got that into the show.
Yep. I would. It's not like I would try and bring other things to life in. Um,
I've heard from a pretty reliable rumor you're also the one that depowered Tom Welling's character in the crossover because you're just like, I don't care. I don't buy him as
I
Superman.
would rather go to prison than do that to Tom Welling. That's how much I love Smallville. I would rather. I would rather. I would rather be sentenced than ever disrespect my favorite Superman in live action.
Can you tell us more about this?
I don't know. Ask my mom.
Your mom?
Yeah, she probably. Yeah. My mom writes on Arrow season 9.
Oh, really? So that's where you get all your scoops from now.
Yeah. God forbid a Muslim woman would ever get to do like something as big as an Arrowverse show. That would be like the day that
I'm sure someone on Miss Marvel is doing that.
Yeah, I know.
They've got to have.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the show is at least Pakistani, but like like in the Arrowverse, like we haven't had like that's why like when Eric was appointed showrunner, he was taking the first person of color showrunner of the on an Arrowverse show because Black Lightning hadn't joined. Yeah. Black Lightning wasn't part of the franchise yet.
Was it not? No, Black Lightning was when Eric Wallace became showrunner. That wasn't until like season 5-ish.
Six. Todd was until 5.
Black Lightning was almost over by that point.
No, that was when season 6 premiered. 9 episodes later, Black Lightning joined the Arrowverse.
No, Black Lightning had like 4 seasons.
Yeah, and during Crisis, that was when season 3 was airing.
What is the premiere date of Black Lightning? Give me a second here. February. No, that's season 4. Why do you do this to me all the time, IMDb? January 23rd, 2018. So that is 5 years ago. We are in season 9 now. That would have been season 4 of Flash in theory. Let me see. Flash. So what did I say? January 23rd, 2018. So I said season 4 is my guesstimate on when they would have been. Yeah, that was season 4 of The Flash. And you got to remember, the showrunners picked up before the show starts airing.
I don't understand what the discussion even is anymore. Like, wait, what do you mean?
You said that Eric was the first person of color showrunner.
Yeah, and that was in season 6. But in season 4, Eric was only a co-executive producer. Because that was the year when the whole Andrew Kreisberg thing happened.
Okay, but you specifically said showrunner.
Yeah, when Eric was promoted to showrunner, that was the first time any of the Arrowverse shows had ever had a person of color as a showrunner.
Well, why did you bring up Black Lightning then? Because
some people always like to say that well, Salim was first. I'm like, no, technically not, because Black Lightning wasn't part of the Arrowverse until mid-season.
Oh my God, you're going on the technicality of when it joined the Arrowverse. Oh. We're having 2 different arguments here.
Is it the same Jay Garrick as the one from Prime and Stargirl?
Look, there's a lot of minor arguments going on that, technicalities. I mean, the only sure thing I can tell you for certain about the Arrowverse is, I mean, obviously Superman and Lois will be part of the Arrowverse, because why wouldn't it be?
Oh my God. After this year, nothing is going to matter anymore with the CW. So it's like, we're almost done. What
was your favorite Iris moment from The Flash? One of my favorite moments was when she jumped from the building in season 1. I forgot about this somehow.
That was pretty bad. I'm trying to.
No, that is one of the dumbest scenes anyone's ever put on television.
CG, no, One of the dumbest scenes on television is when a former general is trying to tell his grandsons how a show is not part of the same universe as these other shows. Yet, despite going on for 2 years, saying,
Can you give me an example of that happening? Because I've never heard of such a thing.
well, if you, no, I am too tired to do the Southern accent. I don't know why. I don't know why I do it.
But no, that jump scene was so stupid. Like that was negative IQ point stupid. I don't know who okayed that scene, but they should probably have been fired that day. Because the idea that someone would, one, jump off a building several seconds after the person ahead of them is already off the building, thinking they would catch up to them. B, jump at the right angle and not think you might jump past them. And then C, have the faith that you're going to catch up to that person before you hit the fucking ground is absurd. I don't care how much you love someone. You see them go over the building, you're just like, shit, that sucks. You're not thinking, you know what, if I angle this at the proper angle and I hit the velocity of the thing going over the edge and I make sure that I have the right trajectory, I'm going to catch up to them approximately this point. They'll have their superpowers and their superpowers will save us. No, never. That's illogical as hell. Oh,
I know.
I forgot. I somehow forgot that scene until right now. That is one of the worst scenes in Arrowverse history.
Can I tell you how I would have done it? And it's so simple. So when Clark was traveling back and forth between Bizarre World and let's call this Earth 1 just for my own sanity, because I'm gonna like bang my head into something if I don't have a number to say. While he was traveling between Earth 1 and Bizarre World, he travels across. Like we either see through like a little gateway or like a portal or like something where we see the Earth Prime heroes, and then he lands on his Earth. That's how he found out. That would have been way more believable. No bad writing and dialogue would have been needed. And because also it makes Sam look like an idiot because he thinks that somehow this is going to comfort his two grandsons who just saw their father fly into the sun. They may never see him again. So
yeah. Well, they needed to answer that question, guys. they needed to let everybody that's been hanging on to the show for 2 years to know that you just don't need to tune in anymore.
Well, but like, remember, because I think we talked about that as me and Chainsaw like on. No, I know he and I have talked about it off air, but like that week when I did Endless Multiverse by myself, I remember saying the reason why this is so dumb is because this is basically everything. The only thing people are not talking about the finale. No one's talking about the fortress.
I know it really was too, because nothing from that. I can't tell you anything else that happened in that finale. That was only, what, 5 months ago, something like that?
I know Allie got her ass whooped.
Well, she's the villain. Of course she was going to. Can I think of anything else? Give me a second. Let me actually think. My God, I'm sincerely saying that I can't actually think of anything from the finale. I don't know how that's possible. That's overshadowed it that much. That's the only thing people remember from the finale. So we have a question or a comment here from a Chinstrap Reacts. And he claims the dumbest scene is when Felicity gives the engagement ring back to Oliver, and at that moment she gets out of her wheelchair and leaves the apartment. Roll credits. I see what you did there, Chainsaw.
I mean, it is like on hitting on the nose, like oh my goodness, like
that would also go down. That would also go down in my worst scenes of all time collection. One of these days, I should do a stream where I just ask you guys, give me your ideas for worst scenes, and then we compile a list and then we rank it as a group. I think that would be a fun one. And then we could do like a best scenes, like another week. Maybe once I've run out of things to go film, so that's like mid-March, and I'll have more free time. Maybe I'll do something like that, guys. I'll sit here and I'll be like, all right, guys, this whole stream is about you telling me the worst scenes. The first hour, we'll take ideas from you, then we'll compile the list, and then we'll start ranking them. Because there are some good ones. That ragdoll scene, I forgot all about that until someone just reminded me right now.
See, I don't mind that. I thought it was actually pretty badass.
Yeah, that's because you are a secret West Allen cheerleader.
I mean, secret. I did not go 9 years to be called a secret West Allen shipper when I've been one of the captains of the West Allen ship.
I don't know. I've heard online some people say that you hate West Allen because you never ask about them.
I listen, like West Allen, I'm in your lane. I got you forever. Snowberry fans, don't even bother coming to my feed. Whoops.
Sorry, I was busy reading. I didn't hear your last sentence.
I said Snowberry fans, don't even bother coming to my feed.
Oh, hear this toxic personality, guys? Right.
I know, right?
Here,
I mean,
here. Toxic personality alert. Toxic personality alert. Oh, you know what I noticed today when they came out with that article about Daniel Panabaker's character?
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Snow. Snowberry is still possible.
I am not commenting on what Miss Panabaker said today.
Hashtag Snowberry. Oh, hey, how you doing?
How you doing? Oh, she's great.
I could have said this live, but I'm not cool enough to be invited to the cool exclusive Canada Stream Club.
Invite him right now and prove him wrong.
I might do that. I might call his bluff right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if I call his bluff and he doesn't come on, we will know that he's a scaredy cat that is scared of scary things and not scary things. But we will see if he accepts the challenge to come on here and tell us why it is that the death of Laurel Lance is one of the best scenes in television history. He's been praising that scene forever, and I want to know his reasoning for it. Look at this. Guy hasn't shown up. Chicken. What a chicken. Bok, 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 bok. He's gonna be like, oh, it's 12 a.m. here. I'm too tired.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. No, Eddie, because that would have mean that Barry would have had to have any romantic chemistry with her whatsoever. Never happened. He's always loved Iris.
Always? Did you not see who Patty Spivot and Felicity Smoke were?
He kissed
Felicity. I mean, he practically tripped over himself to introduce himself to Felicity. And I'm not saying that him and Patty were having fun together, but I'm not going to say they didn't.
I mean, I hate Patty. I think she's a problematic character. She's a problematic cop, which, oh, look at this simp.
I'm just being honest.
Honest about what?
It's over. The multiverse is done.
Okay.
We've explored it to its full extent.
Uh-huh.
Wait till you hear about the crossovers and the spin-offs and the redesigned series they're doing next year. So we invited you on here today because we really need to hear from you, your honest opinion on why you think that Laurel Lance being killed off in season 4 was the best thing to happen to the Arrowverse.
Because her story was done.
Good point. Thank you, Mr. Guggenheim. Yes. Also, do you think the scene where Felicity got up out of the wheelchair and waddled off like she still had a stick up her butt was the best piece of television ever, or was it the best piece of entertainment ever?
When I finished writing that particular scene, everybody high-fived in the room, and I personally called Mark Guggenheim because he was too busy on vacation not to be there because he didn't give a shit. And he said that was the best idea ever. He rushed back, leaving his vacation early to give me a big old hug. And I won't go any further to what happened later that night, but things happened because of that
They
scene, how glorious it was.
they
And when we
fucked.
shot
Good to
it,
hear. Good to hear.
Emily was so happy to shoot that sequence that she, fed us all like amazing dinner because she couldn't believe how that good the writing was. It was so good. 10 out of 10.
Sounds realistic.
It is. That's why
What's
we're
new?
getting Arrow season 9 because of how great that scene was. Like the CW and Nexstar, they personally called us all back to do Arrow season 9 because of that scene.
Seems fair.
They have a $1 budget.
Yeah,
What's new in Chainsaw Land?
They said that we can either give you guys $50 per day to shoot, or you can take a couple of gift cards for some coffee or something. So
Ooh, Starbucks coffee or just like Tim Hortons coffee?
It was kind of like just pick and choose. Like some days it's Starbucks, other days it's something else. They're kind of stingy because all their money's going to golf right now.
Well, have they considered talking to you about crossing over with golf? Could we see an episode where Felicity is playing golf?
We actually have an episode planned where Oliver, as the Green Arrow, is like killing golfers with his bow and arrow and whatever other items he can find. And he's going to say, "You have failed this city over and over and over," even though the context makes no sense. But they're up for it. They're up for it.
Okay. I'm liking the season 9 pitch. Good to hear. So now that the multiverse has been ended, what is next for the multiverse?
Well, I'm hearing the multiverse is getting a reboot, and it's going to go completely woke with the weird reboot. So It's going to be great, and it's going to be it's going to be in the same vein as Velma.
Velma isn't woke. Velma is a bad show.
I have not watched the show because I looked at the idea of it. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. But I saw the pitch meeting for it, and that's all I need to know.
Oh, trust me, he gives you enough information without you having to see a single thing of it.
Yeah. I'm glad he did it for me. I was never going to watch it anyway, but watching his pitch meeting, I just was like, oh my God, why?
Exactly.
I understand retooling ideas a bit to like newer generations. I understand that it's happened for tens and tens of years, but you don't just like change the entire team. You don't.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, because people compare it to Harley Quinn, where they're trying too hard to be like the Harley Quinn show with its comedy. The difference is Harley Quinn is adult, but it's also embracing the DC lore and the DC comics of it all and all these characters, and obviously giving them a spin. But the Velma show is just like, let's just take the IP of these characters and make them not like their characters at all. Like all the resemblance they have is, they dress like the characters. That's about it. And that's the ridiculous part about it. That they just took the IP just to try to sell an adult Scooby-Doo. Like an adult Scooby-Doo show can work, just not in the format of Velma.
Yeah. When I first heard the idea that there's going to be a Velma show, I was like, oh, cool. I like her character. And then when I heard everything else about it, I'm like, no, no. And to be brutally honest on top of it, I don't like Mindy Kaling. She was the worst character in The Office, and I've never seen her on something I like yet. I've never met her. She's never like been mean to me or something like that. I've never seen her be good in anything that I've seen her in.
Also, people pointed out too, she promoted Velma before it aired, and then after the first 2 episodes aired, she hasn't promoted it since.
Because she knows it's dead on arrival.
Yeah, and then yet they're still developing season 2. Like that season 2 works right now. And it's like, and I think the only reason why is because
hold on. I saw the whole thing about developing. I don't know if that necessarily means it's been renewed yet.
Oh. Well, I mean,
it just means that they've started writing scripts in case it gets renewed.
Well, I thought I heard something that it was something similar to like where they found out Harley Quinn's getting a 4th season, where they already had like a separate production codes or whatever for episodes and titles.
They had uploaded like all the episode titles and like then it's like, oh, it's gonna air in 2023. Like I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the same thing for Velma, where there was something
Oh no, I found what it was. So Deadline
Okay.
had said the update comes from Deadline as a trade spoke with Channing Dungey, the chairman and CEO of Warner Bros. Television Group. It was there the executive talked about the company's expansive list of comedies from Night Court to Ted Lasso, and before the chat, and the Deadline made sure to pass on that update for Velma. Dungey's team is working on a second season of Scooby-Doo spin-off Velma, an adult animated comedy that comes from Mindy Kaling. At the time, we have no firm idea how far the woman's gone on season 2. Yada yada yada. So it's like I think it's more developing just to have something ready to pitch them in case.
Gotcha. Well, I
They're
mean,
like,
I think what the issue is that the numbers on Velma were so high in its first week because everyone was tuning in to see how bad is it. So that might make them. I don't know. But then again, they see all the backlash that's happening now. I feel like they would know that this show is just going to continue to get like trashed again and again if it gets to season 2.
Well, it's
but
just
hate
like, I
watching
mean,
is something
perfect
they like.
example. Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, Andy, if you've seen what was it, pitch meeting for it?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So this guy Ryan that does them, perfect thing at the end.
I know. I work for the company that has it.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And you haven't watched your own Oh my God, what a traitor! But no, in seriousness. When he's being the producer guy, he says to the guy pitching, he's like, why would anyone watch this? And the guy replies back to him and goes, "Have you heard of a thing called hate watching?"
Yeah. And he also makes a point in the video too that because he goes addressing all the jokes and things they're going to say in the show, and he's like, "It sounds like we're attacking anybody that would watch the show. Like anybody we're trying to get to watch the show." He's like, "Yeah, it does, but I'm not going to change anything." So it pretty much tells you their mindset. What did Eddie say there? What is he saying?
He's like, "I got a worse scene from Crisis on Earth X. Felicity saying no to marrying Oliver than marrying him at the end." Yes, because not just that, she decides in the middle of Barry and Iris doing their she couldn't wait 45 seconds longer. She couldn't wait till after they've had their kiss and been like, "By the way, guys, Oliver, if you wouldn't mind,
question,
I know you guys."
Do you think that they should have made it to where they get she decides this later on in that season in Arrow, so that it didn't trump their because their whole wedding was ruined.
I don't have a problem with them doing the double wedding. I have a problem with her interrupting in the middle of their vow, right in the middle.
Maybe they should have all decided this before Diggle started. Is what you're
not
saying?
Even that, no, because she might have just it might have just been an epiphany in her head at that moment, but she should have held that epiphany until they've had their they now man and wife had their kiss, and then just been like, "I've just had a great idea," and then pitch it.
Well,
I don't think you anger as many people with that.
That's true. Well, also too, you got to think about this. They wanted that shot. They wanted that moment where you see both of these iconic Arrowverse couples together getting married. That's why they did it.
Wait, Chagra was there?
Yes, Chagra was actually in the background. You can they're there.
I'm pretty sure she was in prison at that point.
Probably, but that's probably why they did it. It's the CW. It's
oh my God.
CW move.
I just realized. Do you think we could have another double wedding at the end of all of this with Chagra and then Chilblain and Snow?
Oh God. Talk about a vomiting moment for me personally.
I can't wait to see the reaction video to that.
I really would hate it. I honestly, if that was to happen, I would sit there and probably either one, show it and show that I'm like, this is dumb, or two, I would just completely cut it.
Oh, slightly related to you, by the way, Chainsaw. I don't know if you heard, but Eric got a strike for his Flash movie trailer thing on YouTube. Have you heard anything? Yeah.
Like his video was taken down?
I will reread his tweet. Give me a second.
Yeah, reread the tweet because I was strike. Jesus.
Yeah, he's on Twitch right now, and the title of the tweet just says, "My YouTube channel got a strike. What? Let's chat about it."
Jesus. Well, all I know is ever since Discovery bought out Warner Brothers, their whole viewpoint on copyright with their content has changed. It used to be to where if a claim came from Warner Brothers Television or Warner Brothers Films, I could dispute it, claiming fair use, and they would remove the claims depending on
Right.
whatever time I submit them. So if it's say like a Flash episode, like a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night, they would get claimed. I would dispute claim of fair use, and the next day, usually in the morning, it gets released. Well, now they will claim and they will not release it if you dispute. They won't obviously like block it or take it down like a strike. I don't know what happened with him, but like my Flash trailer reaction for the movie got hit after about 2 hours being up, which is
for just the revenue.
Yeah, the revenue. Like it was just a claim. It wasn't blocked or taken down. But for my Flash TV show this last week, I recorded it with like an oval over it or whatever, kind of masking the footage, and it helped. It hasn't been hit or anything. So I don't know what happened to him about a copyright strike. I don't know why they would do that.
Neither do I. I mean, I'm live here, so I can't go over there and see what he's had to say. But I just wondered if you'd heard anything like about yours, because I had said this. When all the Flash episode 1 reactions came out, I was like, I'm kind of surprised there's only 2 up, and it's been like 7 hours. And I was kind of like, Warner Brothers has really burned a lot of bridges with the way they're handling this stuff now, because everyone's a little scared to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. There's a Discord for YouTube reactors that I'm a part of that has like, I think 30, 40, 50 members, variety of like channel subscriber wise. So there's like some really high amount of people in there in terms of subs, some lowers, and there's a lot of discussion about all these things. I mean, the blocking of old reactions and Warner Brothers stuff. So there's a lot of discussion about it, and I think the consensus is that they're only going to cover it if it's necessary. Like for some of them, they just kind of decided, unless we really want to do it, we'll bite the bullet and deal with copyright later. But I think for the Flash, it's just people just kept dropping off the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're just not going to handle with it, because a TV reaction, I mean, like literally I could have still got hit, but I luckily didn't. But it's about, okay, are you willing to take the risk? Because if you go and spend all that time recording and editing and uploading, is it going to be worth the results?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So they definitely have burned some people for sure.
I really wish Patreon had a useful search option on there where I could search out other reactors that are just doing their stuff on Patreon, because I would buy into more patron accounts if I knew they were covering the shows I want.
Yeah.
But the only way I know that they're covering the shows I want is if I'm already following them from something else, or I've seen them on YouTube. And some of them aren't doing YouTube on it anymore for that very reason. And it's kind of this weird thing. Like Patreon could be like making so much more money for people if they had a search bar,
Well, that's the thing. Like Patreon just didn't work for me because people only signed on for like one show, and then it just dwindled down.
That's always going to be the case. You're going to go through your ebbs and flows. Like one of the larger ones I follow, I know some of the names, but like I don't know if you know them specifically, but like After Show Reacts.
I think I heard the name.
She's like a British girl or Australian girl, but I follow her, and she's got something like 700 patrons. But the thing is I watch the numbers, and like 1 week she's got 700, next week she's down to 525, and then maybe down to 470, and then back up to 620. It all depends on the show of the week, what the flavor of the week is. It's always an ebb and flow. It goes up and down.
Well, yeah, mine unfortunately was not an ebb and flow. It was literally, I went up, and then slowly over time I dropped down to like 20 people, and that's great and all, but it was taking so much time away from me actually doing because I would have to spend the extra time to render out full videos, do movie reactions and movie rewatches. I was trying to expand upon, and it was just taking up too much time, and the ending results was not justifiable for my time, because then I could put more of my time into my YouTube content, and it would actually benefit me more in the long run, and it has. Trust me, if I had 500, 700, whatever ebb and flowing, per week or whatever on Patreon.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't complain.
I'm just using her as an example because she happens to be the one that I think out of all the people on Patreon I look at the most because she has such a backlog database of shows.
Yeah.
But like everybody else, like I know even others like Busy and Zangilios and stuff like that. Like he tried it and it didn't work for him. Either he got 5-10 people and then 3 of them would drop off, and I understand like the numbers sometimes can't justify the time put in on it, but like I think again, if there was a search option on Patreon,
I think it would help everybody if that was the case.
Yes. Yeah. I don't understand.
Like if you typed in Flash season 9 premiere or something specific, and you found every single video that has been uploaded, like media. Yeah. If you type in like that search, then do a specific like video file.
The one thing I could see is that would be a hindrance to it would be maybe it would make it easier for the copyright companies to find you.
Yeah, that is the thing, because different reactors do different things for their videos and how they do their content. So yeah, that would definitely like go against them. Yeah. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that I stopped Patreon because like I was always worried about that in terms of copyright. So like I'm luckily I'm away from that now, and I can just kind of like, okay, so when I upload something, I have heavily edited this. I don't have to worry too much about copyright. I still may be hit, but I'm more in the clear than I would be on Patreon if someone was to like, because if someone paid a certain amount of money, they could see what I was doing and get access to it.
Yeah.
So
it could always backfire.
Yeah. So I'm kind of glad that I'm out of that. I mean, I tried it. It was successful for a point, but it is what it is.
So we have a couple of questions here Eddie has asked while we're going on my Patreon rant. Because first one is, I have a question for you guys. We know the Flash hasn't had some of the best seasons, but if you could name one, what scene scared you the most throughout the series?
Oh, bad season of the Flash?
No, I think he's talking about scared you. Name one that. What?
Like a scene that scared you, like a horror movie, or like you were like scared.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Thanksgiving one with the pudding teeth has to be up there.
That was that. No, I love Last Temptation of Barry Allen Part 1 and Part 2. Like that was like
it's a fucking amazing job they did on it. But if you're talking about a scene where you're creeped out or scared, that's got to be high on the list.
Yeah,
that's a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if there really has been a horror. I would say maybe. I wouldn't consider it horror, but I would say it definitely is like the fuck when Zoom is like attacking all those cops and CC Jitters. Like, what the hell is going on here? I mean, they were trying to outdo Reverse Flash as much as they could. So like, what can we do to really like? And of course, that whole when he first fights Barry in episode 6, enter Zoom, he like obliterates him for like 5 minutes, dragging him around the city.
Yeah,
showing them off.
That's a you know what, I never really thought about that until right now that you said it. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Just drags him around, and Iris is at her job at the paper, and he drags him in there, holding him up, taking his cowl off.
Remember when Iris used to work at the paper? Wow, that was
And then of course Zoom like freaking what paralyzed him for like one episode or whatever. Like it was crazy how that ended. And we thought, and I was thinking, like, are they going to unmask him? No, of course they weren't going to unmask him. Because when he gets shot by Wells, you're thinking, oh, they're going to unmask him, but he runs away. He's still able to get away. Of course. Can't reveal that I'm fake Jake Eric.
I think if I had to name another scene that scared me the most was Iris and Barry getting married.
I'm literally gonna leave the street.
Felicity tried to save us. The hero of the story, Felicity Smoke, tried to save everybody, but it wasn't enough.
No. I don't know if there really is. I mean, they really haven't done a horror per se, like in terms of like a strip horror on the show.
What do you mean they haven't done a horror? Did you not watch Deathstorm?
Which one of those? I don't blame you, Super Chat down. What were you saying, Andy? Andy's gone now.
Sorry, I had to cough.
What were you saying?
You were like, when have they ever done horror? And I'm like, they literally did a whole graphic novel for Deathstorm. Like that is as horror as we will ever get with this show.
But like, that wasn't horror to me.
You and Eric Ross would not agree on that because that was literally him going full out. Insert name of random scary horror movies that I probably haven't seen because I am not an educator, I guess.
And I get that that's what he's trying to homage, but for me personally, I wasn't scared. I like the storytelling. I like the design of the characters, awesome, but it didn't come across as, oh, this is horror, this is scary. It was just, it might have been creepy or whatever, but I wasn't scared. Then again, I don't watch a lot of horror movies because I don't really care to be scared. Oh, Jonathan Majors?
I don't know this guy. I'm looking him up right now.
I mean, literally, it's different, like, because Thanos is like a CG model that Josh Brolin's voicing. At least for Jonathan Majors, it's actually him.
So. What's this guy? Like, I'm just looking at photos of him. I like... But what do I think about Jonathan Majors? That dude looks scarier than Thanos, especially playing as Kang. I don't know any of this. I'm just trying to find out who he is now.
He was in Loki.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Loki.
Oh.
He was in Lovecraft Country on HBO Max.
Nobody watched Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, like I remember me and Shelby watched the first episode like around the time when it aired, and the first episode we never went past that. We thought it was okay.
I saw, like, all the people that I follow. I think I saw like maybe 2 people talk about that show, and it's weird because it like was up for a bunch of awards, and I'm kind of like, I don't know anyone that followed that through to the end. There probably was. There legitimately probably was, but I only remember seeing it come up in my timeline like 1 or 2 times. I don't know about this. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be comparing it to here, Eddie, but like, I'm looking at the photos of this guy. I added Kang to the Google search. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that because I don't know what you're really looking for in the answer there. We do have a super chat from one Gary Gammon. Gary Gammon is in the house, everyone. I honestly haven't seen Gary in a while. I was kind of starting to think that maybe Gary found a new girlfriend and had moved on and was out partying all the time. But he's here. Thanks for dropping by, Gary. How you doing, by the way? I haven't seen you in quite a while. And he's got a couple of important questions in here. Is The Flash getting delayed?
Yes.
Are you mad at me? Will Superman get a season 4? All right, so with The Flash getting delayed, 100%, Gary, it's totally getting delayed. They're going to do the rest of the season in 2027. That will be episode 2. Episode 3 will be in 2032.
Damn.
Episode 4 will be in 2050. Episode 5 will be in 2014. We are going to need to learn to time travel to see it. But no, seriously, no, of course it's not going to get delayed. There might be a 1 or 2 week break at some point in the season, but they will run through to get them out as fast as possible for the end of May. Am I mad at you? I'm never mad at you. And will Superman and Lois get a season 4? I'd say right now it's 50-50. We will have to. I think a lot of it'll depend on how the first couple of episodes of season 3 are received. I think we'll have to wait and see until then, Gary. How do you guys feel about any of this?
I hope Flash gets delayed because I'm actually going to be gone for one of those Wednesdays. I mean, I might be able to record while I'm gone, but...
Oh, no. Poor you if you can't react to it. That means that all of us have to suffer.
No, I mean, dude, because like the way it falls, if the show doesn't get a break, then it's the Oliver Queen episode when I'm on my vacation. So I hope there's a break before then.
You're just gonna have to tell Shelby that you guys are going a week later.
No, it can't do that. It's her sister's like 21st birthday celebration.
Tell her sister to have the birthday a different day. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
That'll work. Yeah, that'll work.
I mean, there will be some break at least because they'll be
I
covered.
just want to. I wish I could be there for that phone call. Be like, hello, Shelby's sister. Just so you know, your birthday is actually going to be a week later than you think it
we
is.
actually already have discussed this, and she's like, and I told her like the way it falls. If there is no break, then it's going to be the Oliver Queen episode because we'll be 2 hours away from home.
My personal feeling. Nothing that I know is a fact, just based off of how the show's vibe usually goes. I think after that first story arc of the Red Death story, I think there might be a week off there somewhere.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that as long as that episode, I'm home and I'm, nothing's going to screw up. It's my only thing. Because, of course, for everything else, I'll be here. But I just really hope in that instance, or would it be perfect if there's no episode? That'd be perfect, but I doubt that. But we'll see.
Got another one here. Happy Valentine's Day. Are y'all doing anything special? Do you think Barry and Iris will celebrate? And do you know with or without? Every time, Gary. Okay, let's start from the beginning. No offense, Gary. I know you can't possibly know my back history and all that, but I despise Valentine's Day.
Well,
But thank you anyways.
Then why did you tell me and Andy that we were all going to go out to dinner together?
Fuck you! I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, not Valentine's Day.
Thanksgiving.
I have a long history of disdain. First of all, I'm not a fan of corporate holidays. I hate them as a thing. I also dislike Christmas. Secondly, obviously, like a lot of people, shitty things have happened on Valentine's Day in the past. But on top of all of that, my mother passed away on the 15th, and I don't know exactly what time she passed away, but it might have even been on Valentine's Day. I just found her on the 15th. So I've always got this bitter mental time around this particular week. So yeah, that is my history with Valentine's Day. I could probably meet the most amazing person, be happy with them, but they better not expect me to celebrate Valentine's Day. I will treat them wonderful 364 other days of the year, but they should not expect anything special from me on that day. So am I doing anything special on that day? I'm hopefully going to a film set that day. And do I think Barry and Iris will be? Based off what we saw last episode, maybe Gary. Maybe Gary. Yeah, I know you couldn't know, Gary. That's fine. And I'm not mad at you. You can't possibly know that. So it's not a worry. That's why I explained it, I actually, not gonna lie, I actually thought someone would say something sooner because Valentine's Day is tomorrow. I really thought someone would bring it up in the chat earlier, but yeah. But you guys doing anything special tomorrow?
Nope.
I'm dying a lonely virgin, so that's fine. Jesus. But
we are a cheerful group.
I'm just I might get a pizza or something. I don't know.
There you go.
Ooh. You know what? It's funny.
I think me and Shelby are having like steak for dinner.
Ooh, yeah. Delicious. Yeah. I haven't had a steak in so long because my teeth just aren't up to that skill test anymore. But oh my god, I used to love steak.
It's actually getting late here. I probably need to go.
Fine, be that way.
It's almost 1 a.m. my time.
Yeah, I'm actually wrapping up in 16 minutes because I always wrap up by 10 o'clock. So
all right,
I'm wrapping up one way or the other anyway. But yeah, I understand.
You guys have fun, and I'll talk to you later, Andy.
Adios.
I don't want to talk to you.
Okay, then don't.
Then bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, thank goodness we got rid of him, eh?
Right. No, I don't care for Valentine's Day that much. Like, I like watching like maybe storylines or whatever and so on. But yeah, if anyone who celebrates it, good for you.
Yeah, like I said, I've got a very jaded past with it, and I am the most miserable person on that day, so it is what it is.
I hear you.
I was actually glad that there was going to be a set for me tomorrow because it distracts me from the day. And, and and the 15th. The 15th also, there's a set that day too, so that distracts me from that day because, like I said, that's the day my mom, passed away. Whether she passed away on the 14th or 15th, I don't really know the exact time, but yeah. So 14th and 15th have never been days I enjoyed. But yeah, thank you again, Gary. Even though you didn't know, thank you. I have a question for you guys. Do you think after seeing this new Captain Boomerang, do you think we will see him more in this season or just a few episodes, especially with the Red Death? I think you could probably get him for one more episode. You'll probably get him for episode 2, maybe 3 at the most. I don't think he'll be around by episode 4 or 5 because my feeling.
I would say keep watching the season.
What's that?
I would say, who asked the question? Was it Eddie?
Eddie, yeah.
Eddie, I would keep tuning in on Wednesdays at 8, 7 Central on the CW. Dare to get renewed.
Did you say dare to get renewed?
Yeah, you know the whole spiel about dare to defy.
Oh no!
And you know what? That never made sense to me. What the fuck was Dare to Defy about anyway?
It was about daring to defy. I mean, the words are all there. I'll just be here at home with my mom and working on an art project. Cool. That's cool. Yeah. So, dare to be not canceled.
Dare to cancel. Remember the catchphrase was TV to talk about? TV to talk about. TV to talk about.
Doesn't sound familiar to me. What was that?
TV to talk about. That was like their jingle.
When?
Like around the Smallville days.
Yeah, see, I didn't watch Smallville. I can't be sure that I've ever watched anything that was actually from the WB. I mean, I probably did, but I can't think of anything. Where's your list of shows? We're doing a real quick, did Canada Graphs watch anything on the WB? Seventh Heaven, no. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, fuck no. Oh, Dawson's Creek. I watched Dawson's Creek. Charmed, I watched a couple of episodes, but not really. A lot of other shitty stuff in there that no one should have watched.
Wow. I don't care.
Okay. Let's go over this list and you tell me what might have possibly anyone watched. Seventh Heaven, I know, had an audience.
That show was problematic.
Savannah was one season, so I doubt anyone even knows what that was.
I don't even know what it is.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I know it had its audience, but obviously I have my raw issues with the show. Charmed was around for 8 seasons before they decided to reboot it. Dawson's Creek I watched, and Felicity, I remember checking out at least the pilot because the lead looked hot. But after that, I don't think I ever watched it again because it wasn't really my type of show. Hyperion Bay, I've never even heard of it. It was one season. 3 wasn't even a season by the looks of it. Angel was 4 years.
5.
Jack and Jill, 5 years. Jack and Jill looks like it was 2 seasons. Popular looked like it was 2 seasons. Rescue was 1 season. Roswell was 2 seasons. It says moved to UPN, so it probably continued on UPN. Safe Harbor, 1 season. DC, what the hell was DC? Was that a show about a DC related content or the city?
DC Little Tomorrow. I'm kidding.
The series followed 5 young interns in Washington, D.C. Oh boy, that sounds exciting.
Wow, that's an easy show to coming to WB Wednesdays, D.C. What is it about? Yeah. D.C.
Yeah. Gilmore Girls, I know a few people watched that back in the day. Young Americans, that sounds like a spin-off of The Americans, but The Americans was 15 years later. There was something called Smallville, something like that. Maybe Smallville. I don't know. It was on there for a couple of years. There's something named Dead Last that had one season. Surprise. Birds of Prey, one season. Everwood
I
looks like
watched
it was.
that.
Everwood was like 4 seasons. I know a few people watched Everwood back in the day,
Greg
but I don't
Berlanti's
know if I
show.
know him. Huh?
That was Greg Berlanti's show.
Yeah, that guy's never really done much since then, eh?
No, not really.
Glory Days, one season. Black Sash, one season. Tarzan, one season. One Tree Hill, 4 seasons. I know a few people watched One Tree Hill. Jack and Bobby looks like one season. The Mountain, one season. Summerland, one season. Just Legal, one season. Related, one season. Supernatural, one season.
Supernatural one
Bedford,
season.
The Bedford Diaries, one season. Wow, they had a lot of one-hit wonders. They have a whole bunch of comedy shows too. Have I seen any of these? Cleghorn, never heard of it. First Time Out, never heard of it. Kirk, never heard of it. Muscle, never heard of it. The Parenthood, never heard of it. Sister, I've heard of but didn't watch. Simon, never heard of it. The Wayne Brothers, I've heard of them. Unhappily Ever After, I think I watched a few episodes of that once in a while, but not enough to say that I watched it regularly enough to remember it. Nick Freno, Licensed Teacher, did not see that. Life with Roger, never heard of it. Brotherly Love, never heard of it. Jamie Foxx Show, I didn't know he had his own show. The Steve Harvey Show, I did not know he had his own show. The Tom Show, Tom who? Sure. All Right Already, never heard of it. Smart Guy, never heard of it. The Army Show, never heard of it. You're the One, never heard of it. For the Love, never heard of it. Kelly, never heard of it. Katie Joplin, never heard of it. Movie Stars, never heard of it. Zoe Duncan, Jack and Jane, I've heard of it, but I don't know why I've heard of it because it was only 1 year. Brutally Normal, never heard of it. Gross Point, I've heard of the movie Gross Point Blank, but I've not heard of a TV series named it. Hype, never heard of it. Nikki, never heard of it. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I definitely watched at some point, whether it was this version or the version before, I don't know. Men, Women, and Dogs, never heard of it. Off Center, never heard of it. Maybe It's Me, never heard of it. Raising Dad, never heard of it. Reba, I've heard of it, but did not watch it. Do Over, never heard of it. Family Affair, never heard of it. Actually, I think I've heard of Family Affair, but I think I've heard of Family Affair that might have been from like the 1960s. I think it's this name, got the same name. Greetings from Tucson, never heard of it. Jamie Kennedy Experiment, I didn't know he had his own show. My Guide to Becoming a Rock Star, never heard of it. What I Like About You, never heard of it. All About the Andersons, never heard of it. Grounded for Life, never heard of it. Like Family, never heard of it. Run of the House, never heard of it. We're not hearing of many of these shows.
Yeah,
Steve Harvey's
Again?
Big Time Challenge. Yeah, he had 2 shows. He had one from 1996 to 2002, and then from 2003 to 2005. The O'Keefes, never heard of it. On Spot, never heard of it. Blue Collar TV, never heard of it. Drew Carey's Green Screen Show, I did not know he had a show there. The Help, never heard of it. Living with Fran, never heard of it. Twins, never heard of it. Modern.
Living with Fran.
Oh, okay. I had not heard of it. Modern Men, never heard of it. Pepper Dennis, never heard of it. Then they had adult anime. Oh my God, I've heard of a couple of the adult animation shows. So Mission Hill, I watched. Baby Blues, never heard of it. Invasion America, never heard of it. PJs, I never heard of it. The Oblongs, I have seen. So they had a couple shows I've seen. There was what, like 75 shows I named there, and I've heard of like 5.
Yeah, that was wow, that was a lot of shows.
Glad I never have to do that again. See what the chat was saying while I was rambling through everything that ever has existed on the network. I'm looking forward to what's coming. I don't know what that's about anymore. That was 10 minutes ago. Sorry. I wonder what does that mean. I guess I can't answer that too. Speaking of Smallville, imagine if they would have had Tom Welling playing a crazy villain in The Flash. If they could have done, I don't think people needed that. The Buffy spinoff Angel was amazing. I'm sorry that you had to watch that. I can't remember the actor's name who was the lead of that. He's got like the big ugly forehead. He's a fucking douchebag. Like he's almost as bad as Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Like, whoa, whoa,
Um,
whoa, whoa, whoa! What did Sarah Michelle Gellar do to you?
oh, she's a cunt. Like a
Oh,
straight up snobby bitch. She made Freddie Prinze Jr. An asshole for a little while. Um, they were here doing the Scooby movie at one point, and Freddie used to be a wonderful, wonderful guy, and she turned him into an asshole during that era. I don't know if they're still together. I think they finally like broke up at some point,
no,
but
I think no, they're married.
are they still? Okay. But yeah, he used to be an amazing guy, and then he hooked up with her, and everyone already knew beforehand she was miserable, and she then made him miserable by association. Um, but yeah, they were here for the Scooby movie, and I still remember the day so vividly. Um, the girl that played Velma, Linda Cardellini, and
Hmm.
Seth Green, they had the decency to walk over to their vehicle on the street and like get in and get out over and over again. Sarah had them drive her vehicle onto the set. And not only hers, she wouldn't allow Freddie to come over to his vehicle. She made them drive his vehicle onto set too. I remember it as clear as day. They were standing on the stairs. This was at the art gallery, which is that big set where the Richard Harmon scenes were done the other day for the other episode. They were standing on the steps there, and I remember her clear as day. Freddie started to walk away. She went and grabbed him by the shoulder and pulled him and brought him back to the stairs and basically said something to him. And you could just see that look on his face like, all right, I'll fucking do what you say. Fine, I'll wait. And he waited there for his vehicle. And then about 5, 6, 7, 8 days later, we saw them at the hotel. Again, Freddie's walking out the door. He's about to go walking up the street. As soon as she realized there was two people waiting at the hotel, she ran, like actual like Usain Bolt ran across the courtyard to stop him from getting out to the street and escorted him back there, and they waited for a cab. And the cab literally went like 2 blocks. Like she hates everything in life. I I know I like uh talk a lot about certain actors being assholes, but she is one of those people that there's never been a moment of joy in her life. And if she can make anybody else miserable, that makes her happy. So, yeah. And David Boreanaz is almost as bad. I know I'm here just crushing your dreams, but
No, I'm just making. I mean, listen, I believe all actors at one point or another have like they have bad moments and they have bad behavior. So I
there
don't.
is bad moments. Like I said, I mean, I've seen guys who I know are good people. Matt Damon used to be considered one of the nicest people in the industry, yet I saw him on a bad day. I saw him be an asshole to 50 people, but I know that was an outlier to how he usually is. And then there's other people I've been told, I'm like, they're an asshole. Be warned, they're pricks. And then I'll get up to them and they're fine. They weren't super wonderful, but they're fine. But those are outliers. So yeah. But when I'm told someone's an asshole and then they are an asshole, I'm just like, yep, that tracks. What else did we have here? Guys, your thoughts on Leslie Grace and Brendan Fraser fighting back against Peter Safran's statement on Batgirl? I don't know anything about this. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, so Peter Safran made a statement along the time when they did the DC event to announce Chapter One and so on, and he at one point gone and said that he supported David Zasla's decision to cancel Batgirl, that it was unreleasable and everything, and so I guess essentially what happened today was Leslie Grace did an interview with Variety. Let me see if I can pull up the quote. Um, um, Obviously, Peter Safran and his co-chair at DC, James Gunn, weren't there when the decision was made, but had they reached out to you? Leslie goes, no, I haven't heard from them, but I wish them the best on all the plans they have got rolling out. They got a lot of projects to handle, and it's not an easy job. Then let's say what? Because yeah, I think again, I haven't read exactly Okay, there we go. New DC studio head Peter Safran most recently said the movie was not releasable and that it could have hurt DC. Is there anything in your mind that can justify that? And this is what Leslie Gray said. It's on the Variety.com website. I had my own meetings with Warner Brothers Film Group CEOs, Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca, and they explained to me on a granular level what they felt about the project. Things that were out of their hands, plans, and budget that were set in place before they were even part of the team. There are a lot of things I have learned through the experience about movie making that as an actress you have no control over. They weren't really specific on anything created in terms of what they felt about the film and how it would have hurt DC creatively. I'm a human being, and people have perception, and people read minds. And when words are expressed very lightly about word that people really dedicate a lot of time to, not just myself but the whole crew, I can understand how it could feel frustrating.
Okay. Yeah, this is news that just obviously like crossed my ears right now, so I'm kind of not sure how to answer it, especially because like hearing it for the first time, I don't always necessarily like clue into every detail, right? I don't really have an opinion on it yet. I did. Sorry. Like I said, I saw it in my Twitter feed something about Leslie Grace today, but I didn't really read it because, out of sight, out of mind. You don't really think about it. But yeah, there's a lot of problems at WB. That's about all I can really say on the matter.
Yeah, I posted an interview in the private chat if you wanna.
Yeah, I see that. I probably don't feel like reading it because it's already 10 o'clock right now, so I'm going to try and wrap this up in the next 3 to 5 minutes. But I'll read it off screen, and if you ask me about it next time, I will have read it by then, and hopefully I'll have some thoughts together on it. But this immediate moment, I can't say I have a comment on it. Eddie says Dawson's Creek was awesome. Oh, it was amazing. I love that show. What's that?
John was the ship was on it. It was Dawson's dad.
Yes, he was. And that's funny. I have met everybody in that cast except the old lady. I don't remember her character's name right now. I don't know if she's still alive. She probably isn't now. But I've met everybody on that cast at one time or another, and I've only gotten like 3 of them to sign. Like Katie Holmes was a non-signer. No, I think I've gotten 4 because I actually got Michelle Williams. I just didn't get to keep it. So I've gotten Josh. I did not get James because I actually wasn't going for autographs. I was out for a walk and I ran into him. So I did not get James. So I've gotten Josh to sign. I've obviously gotten John to sign. I've gotten Michelle to sign. So yeah, I've gotten about half the cast to sign, and I've met them all except for like I said, a couple of the secondary people. Yeah. What about the show called The Tomorrow People? I remember watching the pilot for that. I was like, it's okay. I think I even watched a couple more episodes, but I never finished the season.
That was actually, funny enough, not a lot of people know that. That was actually like the second podcast I ever created.
The Tomorrow People?
Yeah, I mean, it's gone now. Like, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But
is that how you learned who I was, through set photos?
No, I know. I knew of you. Like, I started. Like, I'd seen your. I wasn't following you when it happened, but like I was seeing some of your stuff during Arrow days.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like, maybe like across my feed, I would see photos that were from you, but I didn't know it was from you.
Yeah.
But I think by the time the Flash started filming is when I had started following you and whatnot.
Right.
I don't know what made you want to follow me though. That's what I'm interested about. Like, what? How did you decide?
Can't even tell you now because that would have been so long ago. I couldn't say. It was probably just because you were covering the Flash, and I'm kind of like, oh, another voice to like hear what's going on. Because half of the media people I follow, I'm following them just because I'm waiting to see if they tell me something about what's going on with the show. Whether or not they're telling me a new character's coming back, whether they're telling me, this storyline is happening, whatever the case is, right? It's just, people tweet things and you're kind of like, oh, that's something I didn't know yet. I'll have to be on the lookout for that. Same as like I follow actors, even though I know they're going to tell me nothing valuable, kind of because they might retweet an article from somebody that'll talk about something I didn't know about, So yeah, like a lot of the people I follow. There's like three types of people I follow. There's people I follow because I'm actually legitimately interested in what they tweet, and a lot of those are like goofball accounts that might make funny comments and stuff. People I know in real life, in either through being at sets or just real life, and then media and entertainment people who I just follow for business. Um, there's a lot of people that I followed back in the day that I've unfollowed over the years because they've moved out of that business. They've moved from this covering this to covering this, or the thing they covered I no longer cover. Um, a lot of the people I followed back in like Once Upon a Time and Fringe and Supernatural days. Um, I don't follow them anymore because they're not overlapping with what I do now, and the same as they wouldn't follow me back for the same reason. So many people get so worked up over someone unfollowing for something, and sometimes it's as simple as your paths have just gone different ways. It's not you did something wrong. You know,
I can
it's
admit
just
that I will get annoyed, like if it's like friends that I've had, like for at least like a couple of years or so on, they just unfollow me out of nowhere. Like, what the fuck did I do? If it's like,
mm-hmm.
for example, there was someone in this profession that had started following me like just a few months ago, and we had talked like a little bit over Twitter DMs, and I discovered the other day that they unfollow me, and like but we hadn't had like any other exchanges, so on. I was like, okay, fair enough, then I will unfollow back. Because
Yeah.
I try not to follow more than 1,000 people on Twitter, so like I'm actually like at least like it's nice to have 3 digits. um um but it's like, yeah, like that social media, like it's like, because you don't see a person's inflection, like if someone unfollows you, you of course your mind will go assume like, oh my god, why do they hate me? Like, why do they want to follow me anymore? Whatever, and so on. It's
I
uh,
only get that way over like there's the obviously if it, again like you said, if it's someone you personally know, you're kind of like, what the fuck did I do? But
like if Ken
I
unfollowed
actually
you tomorrow, yeah, that would be weird.
right, like I follow, like I frequently check like those who unfollowed you sites, and it's not because I'm like, oh, I hope that person didn't unfollow me. I'm looking at the names on there and trying to figure out like what fan bases they're from to see, like if I get like all of a sudden like 14 people unfollowing me because and their names are all like Flash related content, I'm like, okay, the Flash fans are starting to jump ship. Fair enough, I understand why. If I get a bunch of people all of a sudden unfollowing me that are from like Dead Boy detectives, I'd be like, okay, why are they jumping ship? Because that's a current show. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
when I look at my unfollower list, a lot of them are frequently filled with Supergirl and Supernatural and Once Upon a Time people. And I'm like, fair enough, those shows have been done for a couple of years. But when I see someone unfollow me and their name is like Superman fan, I'm like, it's kind of weird. So I just look at it more for an analytics thing. Now, once in every, I'd say 800 people that unfollow me, because a lot of people unfollow me. I mean, I have 14,000 followers or whatever. I don't think people really understand, unless they've got those type of numbers, the turnover rate of followers and unfollowers you have. um, so like out of like maybe every 800 people that unfollow me, one I see, I'm like, what the hell? Why did they unfollow me? The rest of the time, even if I'm following them back, like I'll be following someone and I'll see on the list, it'll be like, oh, they unfollowed you. I'll look and I'm like, okay, makes sense. That our paths don't cross, content wise anymore. I understand it. So I'll unfollow you too. I don't like tweet them and be like, why are you following me? I was following you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just realized we both have things we're interested in. Your interest and mine no longer align. Okay, I understand why you're leaving.
I will say this, like, I mean, I feel like every time I'm getting close to hitting like a milestone, that's when a lot of people start unfollowing me, because I'm like, because I'm like you, I don't have I don't have 10,000 followers, like it's a mere, okay. My goal, I want to get to 6,000 followers before the Flash is over. I think I deserve at least
Mm,
that.
What are you at these days?
I am right now at 5,891.
You'll get there. You'll get there. Especially if you get another interview with anybody of relevance, that will definitely push you over.
Well, I feel like also some people are like, because I know that when the moment the Flash ends, I know there will be people that will unfollow me because they're like, he has no value anymore. Even though when I'm like, well, I mean, I literally have a lot. I mean, I'm going to be covering other shows and movies. There's a project I'm working on right now that I told CT about that I'm very, very excited about. That is kind of like the next phase of my career in a lot of ways. But like, I'm hoping that people don't just see me as the Flash person for the rest of my life. Here's the thing. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all the amazing support and growth that I've gone for the Flash. Like, thanks to, just Grant Gustin follow me on Twitter, both on the Flash Podcast account, on my personal account, and retweeting me and
I
supporting
hate to tell you, Andy, but Grant Gustin does not follow you on Twitter.
Not because he deleted his Twitter account. Listen, I still have the screenshot when he like followed me on Twitter, and I got so excited. But then everyone, I don't know how everyone else found out, because then I was getting texts from people going like, "Oh my god, did you see the Grant Gustin follow?" I'm like, how do you possibly know? I haven't even tweeted about it.
But, because people, there are fans obsessed over who other celebrities follow. I found out, I can't remember what the situation was, which actor it was or whatever. I found out through someone else that some actor had stopped or unfollowed another actor, and that's how I found out that person was no longer friends with them. And it was fans looking through their Instagram feeds going, oh, that person unfollowed so-and-so, and that person unfollowed them back. They spend their life obsessed with these actors. So I'm not surprised someone told you.
Because it was like my actual friends pointing out to me, or I'm like, how can you possibly know that Grant is following me? So like, I don't know, it was funny as fuck. But like, thanks to him, thanks to Eric, even thanks to Candace, all the support I got in the early years. People would follow me and they would support me. They would click on my stuff. They would see that, oh, he knows how to write. He knows how to podcast. Barely. I mean, I'm not a good podcaster. I've done it for 10 years, but I'm not a good podcaster. So people have given me a chance, and that has also helped me get into other, again, because I cover DC, I cover Marvel. I'm starting to cover other shows that aren't just superhero stuff. So it's but I know that when the Flash is over, there's gonna be a lot of fans that will unfollow me. But I'm hoping it's not like 500. I'm hoping I think at most maybe 50 people will unfollow me.
It will be more than 50. I don't know what the number will be, but like, I've gone through so many fandoms that have, done their like goodbye purges at the end that I kind of have an idea how this goes. When the show, so there'll be a few small blips along the way. There will be, whenever the show finally wraps. I mean, in my case, in yours it might be different because I follow it from a different thing. When the show finally wraps and there will be no more filming, I will have a purge of probably a few hundred people. Again, I've got 14,000 though, as opposed to your like 5,000. So you got to think of the number difference too. I'll have a few hundred that'll unfollow me at that time. Then when the series ends, there will be another unfollow. That'll be a smaller unfollow because the ones that are obsessed day in and day out would have unfollowed me like right away if they're going to unfollow me. That one maybe another 100 or 200. And then there will just be a trickle of them for about 6 months. You'll get 4 or 5 will unfollow you 1 week, then maybe 10 more. Then maybe some news comes out about like Daniel Panabaker gets a new project. It'll be back in their periphery for a second. And they'll be like, yeah, why am I following these Flash accounts? And unfollow more people. And you'll have that little trickle for about 6 months. Then it'll kind of die off. You'll still have one or here or there will unfollow, obviously, because they don't sign into Twitter every day. But yeah, you'll have a couple of spikes early on, and then it'll just like slowly phase out. And then in that time, you will also, in theory, start building a new fan base of new people from other projects coming in. So yeah, there'll be a dip, and then it goes back up. Like, does that one site still show all the numbers going back all the time? Let me check.
Social Blade.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the Flash podcast following, because we have, we almost have like 29,000 followers. Like, so I figured most would be like, I could see 1,000 people unfollow when the show.
I think 1,000 is a realistic number. Yeah.
But I don't think all at once. I think it will be like, I think by the end of the year, I believe 1,000 people will unfollow the Flash. But also, there will be, because we also cover other DC stuff there. We cover this movie at some point. But yeah, it's gonna, whatever happens.
So okay, perfect example. I'm looking at my analytics on Social Blade. October 2019, I went up 1,267 followers that month. That was, of course, the month they were filming Crisis. The next month, after Crisis was over and all the big hype had really died off, I was down 120. People literally came, followed me long enough to get all the Crisis scoops, and then like dipped out. Or sorry, not even 120, 190. Sorry. So yeah, I had numbers going up for July, August, September, and October, all because of like the Crisis hype. And then as soon as Crisis wrapped, 190 people left. And the numbers I never had another month above positive until September of 2020. So that was almost a year before my numbers started going back up again. But there was also a pandemic in that time too, so there wasn't anything for me to add. So yeah, so your numbers, they'll dip, but eventually something new will come along. You'll start building the numbers back up again. We have a couple last questions here. Let me grind them out before we wrap up here. I have a question for you guys. I heard that Eric Wallace said that Barry and Nettie will have an emotional story by the end of this season. That's not really a question. That's more of a statement. Are you asking, do I know anything about this? If so, I don't. I think I followed CG either during the Flash season 3 or season 4. Sounds fair. Oh, here is a good show. It's called Due South. Yeah, that was a good show. That's super old. Speaking of Grant Gustin, I have a question for you guys. Who thinks Grant Gustin deserves an award for the amazing work he has done in the Flash? Because the dude can make cry in those emotional scenes. I mean, acting awards. Well, I mean, I think he's probably talking more the primary awards, not like sci-fi or Teen Choice Awards or whatever.
Sadly, CW shows are like, I mean, the break, Emmys, Golden Globes, they sadly leave out the CW from. I mean, that's why, like, when Gina Rodriguez.
To be fair to them, there's a reason for. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, Grant Gustin's a capable actor, but that's the thing, he's capable. He is not in the same vein of Bob Odenkirk and Bryan Cranston. And at the end of the day, that comes with experience. That comes with being in the industry for a while. He's still pretty new at this job. He's been playing one character for 9 seasons. I'm not surprised he's never won any because, again, like you said, the CW like name really kind of undervalues anything you do from the get-go. But on top of that, the competition for drama actor is the stiffest competition in any category. Comedy, a little easier. The actress industry, I mean, there's 2.5 actors to every actress, so that just statistically there's more. There is just more competition in that category. So him never being nominated isn't a shock. There are people who I've legitimately, sincerely thought this person deserves a nomination that has not got one. But when it comes to the Arrowverse, I don't know if I could give that to anybody in the Arrowverse. No offense to any of them. I mean, there are some extremely capable actors. Obviously, we've got the likes of Jesse L. Martin and Paul Blackthorne and people like that have been in the Arrowverse.
Victor Garber.
But the content they're given to work with just doesn't give you anything to put in to an Emmy reel and Golden Globes and be like, here's my content. They'd look at that and be like, well, you're in a category with the cast of these 7 gritty dramas that are on cable shows. You don't have a chance, you know?
The way I stand at, because I've always, I mean, people who follow me for years, I always spoken very highly of Grant Adam. I think I think like there's a lot of episodes where he really comes through and so. And then of course sometimes the material, like again, I think out of the Arrowverse actors that have been on, he's definitely one of the stronger ones because I think they've been able to experiment more with what he can do. Like I think one of the episodes that is a really good example is Enter Flash Time in season 4. It's the episode where it's episode 15. It's the episode where like an eco I don't know if I can say this word on YouTube. So it's an eco T word who how
Can you put in private chat? Because I'm having trouble figuring out what you're saying.
This.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not the trans word for anyone who goes back and rewatch it. But it's like there's a villain who is threatening to blow up.
Let's just say if there was say like some type of terror ish type situation.
Yeah. Blow up Central City, and that's when Barry rediscovers again the power of Flash Time. So he has to figure, but because everyone else is frozen, he has to figure out essentially everything on his own, how to destroy, prevent this nuke from happening. And that's when we get this amazing scene between him and Candace in the Star Labs, where he's burning up, like he's like, I can't stand anymore. I'm falling apart. I can't do this anymore. And she comes up, she helps him come up with the idea of opening up the speed force cube.
To the point, I really want to wrap this up in like the next 2 to 4 minutes. So you're saying you think that scene was like
that episode is a huge good example of like what a capable actor he is when like the writing really like takes advantage of it.
I'm going to say something that I know a lot of fans are going to roll their eyes at, but the current cast of this show are capable actors. Do I think they are capable of carrying a show on their own long term? Probably not. I mean, Grant and Jesse, and I would say, honestly, even to a lesser extent, I think even Candace, with the right material, could carry a show as a lead. But I don't think they will. Grant might. Grant definitely might. And obviously, Jesse has a show already. But the rest of them, I think they're just going to be working actors from here on out. They might get another big break down the road, maybe get a 2-season gig somewhere. But they're working capable actors. There's lots of them. They're not the term CW actor gets thrown around a lot, and I think that is fair for a show in its first or second season. By the time you're into season 9, you get a little better quality actor coming in, and the actors have grown into their character on the show. If you're talking about something like, say, sorry, let me just wrap this up because I do want to get this going. Something like Gotham Knights. You have Misha Collins on the show, but everybody else on that show right now, as far as I'm aware, are almost unknowns in the industry. You can legitimately call them CW actors because this is the only thing on their profile until now. Once we see a couple of years, which we know we won't get, but once we get a couple of years of them on Gotham Knights, you can then make a serious deduction on whether they are good actors or capable actors or CW actors. And that's the point we're at. The Flash, you needed 2 or 3 seasons to be able to piece together which actors are good, which actors are capable, which actors are CW. And I think everyone on the current roster is a capable actor. And I know a lot of people are going to roll their eyes and be like, Allegra is a seal. But they're working with the content they're also given. That is stuff written for them. You have to take into consideration what they're being told how to play that character too. Stephen Amell and Willa Holland used to get this a lot in season 1 of The Flash. People were like, or Arrow. They used to be like, oh, he's so broody and gruff and no personality. And Thea was always, oh, she's so bratty, so snotty. And it's like, that's how they want her character to be. That's how they want his character to be. His character is supposed to be damaged and emotionally unavailable. Her character is supposed to be damaged and traumatized. There's a reason they're acting that way, you know? People just they think because the character doesn't connect with them that the acting sucks, and that's not the case most times. But yeah, I'm sorry to get a little off track. I really want to wrap this up, so I'm going to answer Eddie's last question here, and then we are out of here. And that is, I have one last question for you guys. After all 9 seasons of The Flash, what was your favorite Flash suit? Because there was a controversy with the Flash suit from season 5. Was that the one with the bicycle helmet?
Yes,
I think it was. Okay.
I mean, the one he has now that's the best one. I mean, he looks better than it looks even better than the freaking Flash movie suit because, like, well,
hey, I'm going to say the Flash movie suit actually didn't look too bad. I liked it.
Yeah, you know what? It worked for me when the yellow lines weren't on that. Like when Barry is generating speed.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's why I'm like, okay, this doesn't look half bad.
Yeah.
By the way, the only thing I was going to add before about the CW thing was never say never. Austin Butler started as a CW actor, and now he's an Oscar-nominated actor for Elvis.
Sure. I mean, there are, again, this goes back to we didn't get enough of Austin Butler to make a decision on how he is as an actor because he was literally in for like 4 episodes.
No.
We got 3.
Oh, you didn't know he was on he was one of the leads on Carrie Diaries. The Sex and the prequel, Sex and the City prequel.
Literally nobody on Earth knew that show existed. So
on for 2 seasons at least, that's all I know. I know
everything on the CW was on for 2 seasons, so come on.
Back in those days, you're not wrong.
But that is, yeah, I would. My answer is the same as Andy's on this one. The current suit I think is the best.
Yeah.
But that is it for today. Sorry, April. Quick answer to April's question. I think it might be just because she's got the blue hair, but we really will have to wait and see. But that is it for today's, guys. That's it for today, guys. The Flash is on Wednesday, but I will not be doing a live on that day because I will be at a film set that day. So I will not be on Twitch that day, or probably not even on here that day. So you might not see me till Thursday for that stuff. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, weather is better tomorrow and the Flash actually films tomorrow. If not, I guess I'll have nothing new, but hopefully I'll have something new tomorrow. But tomorrow I'm supposed to be at a Flash set. Wednesday I'm supposed to be at Superman and Lois. Fingers crossed things stay that way. And I will see you all whenever I see you again. And thanks everyone, or thanks Andy and Chainsaw for being here earlier. Okay, that's it now. All right, guys. Bye.
Sleep well. Like and subscribe.